Well, good morning. It is a Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. We still have, this is the thing about playing Thursday night games. I talk about it with Monday night games, but on the back end, it's hell for Thursday night games. It's hell. It's been a week. It's time for another football game, for God's sakes. We've been through all of it. What the hell else is there to talk about at this point? We're going to do our best. We'll try to talk about it anyway.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing. At least they're playing the Steelers,
yes,
not
the
Giants.
Correct. I don't. Well, look, I tell you what. Here's what we'll do. We'll get the Pittsburgh side of things today. We haven't done that this week. Well, that's not true because we had Dick LeBeau, although he's not really paying attention to the current team necessarily. I don't think.
Maybe he's involved. I don't know.
Oh, I would prefer not. He's very good. But anyway, yeah, we'll go to the Pittsburgh side of things. In just a minute, we'll chat with our buddy Charlie Batch, who comes on with us every time the Ravens play the Steelers, former Steelers quarterback, KDKA out in Pittsburgh. Also this morning, my friend, despite his allegiances, a man that you've loved from all the years, whether it's NFL Network or the Adam Carolla Show or remember the Man Show from Comedy Central, Dave Dameshek will check in with us a bit later on, noted Steelers fan. Also this morning, a friend of mine, former Ravens receiver Marlon Brown, he was back in town last Thursday, checked out the Ravens game against the Bengals. We'll see what he thought about them and what's going on in his world. We'll make our picks with KZ, segment 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show with Tavius Robinson. Just so much to do on a Thursday edition of the program. Hey, what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland?
You get $7 in free slot play every time that Baltimore or Washington scores a touchdown during their home games this season. Live Rewards members will be getting $7 in free slot play. You have to have your Live Rewards card inserted into the slot machine, any slot machine, on the floor and be actively playing, but once those touchdowns scored during home games for Baltimore and Washington this season, $7 in free slot play. At Owings Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Maryland women backed up their win over Duke by going up to Syracuse last night and getting a nice win. Congratulations to them. Of course, the news yesterday related to the injury report. Kyle Van Noy did not participate in practice. Clearly, that's bad news for Kyle Hamilton. The question really becomes, can he get back on the practice field by Friday? Wednesday is not the end-all, be-all. It does, again, feel like it's been forever since the last football game. The question will be, can he get back out there by Friday? So we'll continue to monitor that, but did not get good news yesterday. The Kyle Van Noy thing apparently is an illness, so at the moment not terribly concerning. We'll reserve the right to change our mind about that as the week goes on. And the good news being that Isaiah Likely was back out on the practice field yesterday for the Baltimore Ravens after missing the game against the Bengals last week. So you assume that means he'll be good to go. So that's what's going on. That's the news going into the week. We got to kick things right off because we had to do this a little bit earlier on. But always a pleasure to catch up with an old friend. He is Charlie Batch. We'll talk some Ravens Steelers at the start of the show today here on GCR. Man, it's always, I say it's a pleasure, and it is, but it's always one of those conflicting things whenever we get the Ravens-Steelers week, because we know we get to catch up with a friend and a great man who's always doing good things for his community. The problem is it always just brings back memories of the time he came into Baltimore and beat the Ravens, and we don't like thinking about that. He is former Steelers quarterback, TV analyst in Pittsburgh, and just all-around good guy, Charlie Batch, and he is back with us now here on GCR. Charlie, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It really is always great to catch up with you, buddy. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, not a problem. I appreciate you having me on. It's always fun.
Man, I know we have so much we got to cover with you, but I remember talking the last time about this massive facility that you were building for the Best of the Batch Foundation. It just blew my mind about how much it's grown. And I know you have your big event coming up tonight. Can you remind everybody about all that stuff before we dive into this game?
Yes. So earlier this year, we actually had a ribbon cutting as we went from 5,300 square feet to 33,000 square feet. So with our Best of the Batch Foundation, as we celebrated 25 years, and it's just exciting because we're an educational foundation. We focus on our STEAM programs and our after-school programs. So it's really exciting to really have that going on. And the kids love it, which they don't want to leave, which is why we built it. But also you need to help raise funds. And doing so, tonight we're having an event, which is a pool, poker, and ping pong event. So it's the Steelers, as the local celebrities around Pittsburgh, they have an opportunity to play against the fans for bragging rights, and it's really cool as bragging rights are at stake as everybody's playing a little pool, poker, and ping pong event. So with all that being said, if anybody wants to be a part of it, they actually can go to batchfoundation.org. You can see everything that we do on a calendar year because we get excited as we serve 3,800 kids 3,800 kids annually in 9 counties throughout southwestern PA. So it's really exciting because we're grateful and thankful for everybody who believes in the mission and vision of the Best of the Batch Foundation.
Is this right? Are you really 25 years into doing this?
Yes, 25 years. So we just celebrated. We started January of 1999 when I was in Detroit, did some one-off programs there in Detroit, and then ultimately when I got to Pittsburgh, that's when we redirected our foundation goals from Detroit to Pittsburgh, and we've been off and running ever since.
That's awesome, Charlie. First of all, congratulations, man. It's a testament to you and to your vision and to what you care about, and we'll continue to point people to batchfoundation.org to find out more. But it's amazing, seriously, man, what you do for that community. It's unbelievable.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That said, we hope it's a miserable day for you on Sunday. Charlie, I think we always start this way, right? Ravens, Steelers, those are just words that mean more significant things. But, the last few years, for a bunch of different weird reasons, these games have not maybe meant quite as much, despite both teams being good. They're, backup quarterbacks playing, or the COVID year, or whatever it was. What does it mean to you, to the football, that we get to have another massively significant mano-a-mano Ravens-Steelers showdown this week?
It's always exciting, and especially around Pittsburgh. This is really the only week that they get excited about anybody on the schedule, and this is Ravens week. You don't do that every week during the course of a schedule. So people who are familiar with this rivalry, doesn't matter how far you go back, people know it's going to be a hard, tough fight game. And the players, they're all new, but they're familiar with this rivalry because a lot of them were watching this rivalry as they were growing up. Now to be a part of it, this is really essentially when you make a play in this game that matters, people and fans remember that moment in this particular game, and they'll remember it for a long time, well after your playing career.
There's no doubt about that. And, of course, over the years, the story of this rivalry was largely built on defense, and that's changed. Certainly has changed in Baltimore, where defense is optional at this point. Charlie, I say this, though, what the Ravens are doing offensively, what Lamar Jackson has been doing, I'm almost at a point where I believe it might be impervious to defense. Like that. It just doesn't matter, and that doesn't mean they're going to win every game because, again, the Ravens' defense has not been great. But as good as the Steelers' defense is, as good as T.J. Watt is there a defense, is there a team that is capable of taking Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry out of what it is that we have seen them do since they got together this season?
Yeah, it's not saying that you can completely take them out of the game, right? One thing with Derrick Henry, if you kind of continue to load the box, but then that leaves you a little bit more vulnerable on the outside that Lamar Jackson can actually utilize his legs and really make you pay for it if you are not committed to him. So I think that's something that when you look at just the way that this defense has been structured, it's structured to face the Baltimore Ravens, and they're trying to have the speed on the outside. That's where you have T.J. Watt and you have Alex Highsmith, but he's not going to play in this particular game today. So if that's Nick Herbig or Preston Smith, whoever's filling that void, it's going to be a huge task for him because they're going to have to control the edge to minimize what Lamar Jackson does.
What do you say about Lamar, Charlie? Like we are running out of it here. It's almost like an out-of-body experience watching this dude play football each week. And I know that you probably don't want to praise the Ravens too much leading into this game, but how do you describe the level that he has reached as he is marching his way towards a third MVP season?
Yeah, it's remarkable, and it's just amazing because, you go from the start of his career, and then he falls at the bottom of the first round, and people, there were people out there saying that the way he plays doesn't transition into the NFL. And boy, has he made everybody look like a laughing stock because of the way he plays. Like you mentioned, going on to his third MVP at this particular manner. I'm happy for him. I'm a huge fan of Lamar, love everything about him. And for me, I have the opportunity to know how he's being coached because offensive coordinator Todd Monken, he was my wide receivers coach at Eastern Michigan. So I know what he's all about. He's like, an uncle to me. So I know the type of coaching that he's getting. So just the success that both of those two are having, man, from afar, I'm excited about it. I'm only excited, just not as excited about it in the 2, maybe 3 times that the Steelers-Ravens play.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a marriage, obviously, those two guys working together. He is Charlie Batch. He's with us here on GCR as we get ready for Ravens-Steelers on Sunday. All right, Charlie, let's talk about the Steelers. Obviously Mike Tomlin made the decision to go with Russell Wilson. It's paid dividends. I've watched a good bit of those games. I don't know that I would say this looks like vintage Russell Wilson. It looks like a guy that, the moon balls are vintage Russell Wilson, right? But, what has he brought totally to this team? And in what ways maybe are they still vulnerable at all offensively? Because it does still seem like there's maybe the middle of the field isn't being used completely to this point.
Yeah, when the narrative that was created when Russ was leaving Denver, you're kind of like, okay, where did that come from? And then when you kind of just do a little bit of homework, you're like, I don't understand where, this negativity is coming from. It was over 3,000 yards last year, 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and yet he missed games. So that number could even be better. And then all of a sudden, but when you're a player, you understand you've been around the NFL, you're like, that wasn't because of performance on the field. It was strictly salary, and they didn't want to, bring that into this season. So they, removed themselves from that contract. But here he is in Pittsburgh, man. He's been nothing but honorable, and players love him. The organization love him, the leadership. It's one thing physically on the field, the things that you're able to bring, but off the field, those intangibles, the leadership that's needed on this young offensive side of the ball, he brought that. And Mike Tomlin doesn't shy away from conversations. He knew it was an open competition between Russ and Justin. Russ started separating himself and ultimately was named the starter week 1. He just got hurt, and then after that allowed Justin Fields for those 6 weeks to be able to play. But when you look at where everything was, and of course it wasn't a sexy decision around the country, but when he reinserted Russell into the lineup, it wasn't because of the record. The record was 4-2. It was mainly because when you peel back the layers, offensively they were 28th in passing. And that formula is what they used over the last few years underneath Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator. They could not go down that path again. So he made the move, and that's an area that this team could get better at because they're 28th. I don't know exactly where they are now, but it's trending in the right direction, and that's something that's going to continue to get better as the season goes on.
Charlie, I bring up, obviously, the deep balls, and we call them the moon balls because they just hang up there. And look, that connection with George Pickens has been unbelievable, clearly. They bring in Mike Williams as well in order to help that. I am if that was all it was, I'd be concerned about it because the Ravens defensive backs, that's been a liability this season. But am I wrong when, again, I look at the passing charts, I watch the games, it does seem like it's mostly been underneath and then the moon balls. Is there still another aspect of this offense that can be there in the middle of the field, or is that, because that was the one thing that I think was fair about the criticism in Denver last year, is that they kind of limited it to underneath and moon balls for Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I think when you look at just the way the stature is, I mean, the one area that you could potentially get better in that middle of the field is utilizing Pat Freiermuth a lot more in the middle of the field. It's something that, he doesn't really complain about it, but there are times that he is open, but he wasn't the first option in that particular manner. So I can see them using Pat Freiermuth a lot more tight end here in Pittsburgh, but ultimately now who is going to be that second, third receiver? We did see, some great options as it relates to Calvin Austin doing this thing. Mike Williams caught the game-winning touchdown pass, Van Jefferson. So somebody else needs to step up on the other side of George Pickens in order to make this offense complete.
What is the ideal game? If they drew a roadmap of what it is they want to do in order to beat the Ravens on Sunday, what does that roadmap look like for Pittsburgh? Ideally, what are they trying to do offensively in order to play their game?
Yeah, I think, if you can turn around and, early in ball games, the offense has been able to move the ball on the defense. But if the defense is able to create a turnover, get the offense back to ball, things haven't started. They're not a fast team as they start, but they wear the defense down. And ultimately in the second half, those numbers that are separating themselves because they're controlling the time of possession, that gives the defense an extra rest, and then they can go out there and play dominant football in the manner that they have in the second half. So it's very complimentary, but ultimately if the Steelers want to do it, they want to run the football and control that time of possession. Yeah. So this, actually, I say all that to say this could possibly be one of the fastest games in the NFL because both teams are running the football.
There's no doubt about it. Is Charlie Batch. He's with us here on GCR as we're obviously getting ready for Ravens Steelers on Sunday. Charlie, on the flip side, right? Like we talk a lot about the Steelers, the defense, and I think part of that is like they've got T.J. Watt, right? Like that's what you're gonna think about. That's the way that it goes. But are there vulnerabilities outside? Like it's not maybe the top unit in football. Besides the presence of this all-world player, where are they vulnerable? How does Patrick Queen fit in? Where are their chances to take advantage of the Steelers defensively?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, I mean, Patrick Queen has come on over the last month. He got off a little bit slow as you're, new to the team, but he is picking to get up. They love where he's at in the middle of the field, specifically coming off that Commanders game last week. I think the vulnerability right now is your mind is Alex Highsmith, who is your starting outside linebacker opposite T.J. Watt. With him out and Nick Herbert coming back from a hamstring injury, that is going to be an area that I feel the Ravens are going to test just to make sure that they can prove whether he's back healthy enough for that hamstring. So I think that's something that I'll pay attention as the game unfolds.
All right, this is this is Ravens Steelers, man. This is everything. Like this is. I'm so glad that it means so much, Charlie. I'm so glad that this is what we got, and that it's not a Week 18 throwaway game where they're starting like a Charlie No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. Charlie, remind everybody about the foundation, about what you're doing, about the event tonight, real quick.
Yes, absolutely. So we're doing a pool, poker, and ping pong event. This helps raise funds for our Best of the Batch Foundation and our STEAM programs and after-school programs. So we're super excited. We're just celebrating 25 years of Best of the Batch Foundation. So we're super excited. So if anybody wants more information about that, they can go to batchfoundation.org. You'll see all the information on ways to support. And if you can't attend, look out for unique silent auction items. There's ways that you can be a part of it as well there.
At Charlie Batch 16 as well is how you follow him on Twitter. Charlie Batch, you're the best, man. Always appreciate you. Look forward to talking again here in a couple of weeks, all right?
I look forward to it. Appreciate you having me. Thanks.
That's a great Charlie Batch with us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us. We look ahead to Ravens Steelers on Sunday. Hey, today's show is also brought to you by this. Instead, I'll just tell you that there's a new Stan the Fan variety show available for you right now. As Stan caught up with Vinny Serrato, former GM, 105.7 The Fan hosts. You can find that right now. PressBoxOnline.com/video. You can watch it at Facebook.com/PressBoxSports by clicking on the Videos tab, or by going to YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. Stan and Vinny Serrato talking Ravens. That is available right now. From Joe. Joe says, Glenn, I feel like that's important that every team that plays a Thursday night game should have to have a huge game the following week to help people get through. Yeah, I guess that would be nice, but then what do you do when the bad teams don't have huge games? Like, what do you do if Jacksonville plays on a Thursday night? Who the hell are you playing them against the next week? It just doesn't work. It's a nice thought, right? Like it's a lovely consideration, but that is not practical in any way. That is definitely not something that they will ever be able to do. From Ryan, I've been sitting on this for a couple of days. Ryan says, Glenn, I feel like you are suggesting that defense simply doesn't matter in football every time you say that it's not predictive. And as the saying goes, defense wins championships. With all due respect, there's a reason why we're all obsessed about the defense. It's because we know that it doesn't matter what they're doing offensively. It only matters what it is they're going to be able to stop when they get to the playoffs, and there is no reasons. I'm going to stop you right here, dude. I'm not even going to go on. Defense wins championships is a fun cliche, right? Like, it's a neat thing to throw around. Does it actually mean anything? Nope. Once upon a time, it did. Yeah, once upon a time, the theory really did hold. that the teams that were best suited at running the football and playing defense were the teams that were most likely to win Super Bowls, because that was the era of football. And so we allowed that like defense wins championships thing to seep into our brains and be defining in some way. But it never meant a thing. It was never actually backed up by any statistic. As I have pointed out throughout the course of the week, there is no history that says you have to have a really good defense in order to win a Super Bowl. It does not exist. The Ravens had one. They won 2 Super Bowls. One was a really good defense. The other was not. And you can say it was better by the time it got to the playoffs. Yeah. But we all remember the Denver game, and we all remember the Super Bowl, and they gave up boatloads of points in both games. It's just a cliche. It doesn't actually mean anything. We default to it because we think it's fact. We've convinced ourselves that it's fact over the years. But there's nothing actually factual about it. And I can do it with you again if you want, but I've done it a couple of times this week, and I don't feel the need to. I have run the numbers on all of the Super Bowl winners. There are a boatload whose defense was in the bottom third of the NFL. It's the reason why all of the people that study the numbers tell you offense is predictive, offense matters, defense doesn't. It's the reason why the Minnesota Vikings have the best defense by far in the NFL right now, and yet none of us believe the Minnesota Vikings can win the Super Bowl. I want the defense to be better. But I can't allow that to separate me from fact. Yes, I want the defense to be much better. But fact says it is far more important that they are playing this well offensively. And if this continues, they're going to have every chance. But if the defense doesn't get better, it's got to continue. And that's my point. Margin for error is the bigger story. All right. Wipe that out of my mouth.
You be okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
I'm really good now. I love this guy. We did a lot of shows together back in the day, and he's just a great dude. He was back in town last week as the Ravens won a thriller against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football, and he actually knows a thing or two about winning thrillers. We obviously remember his heroics in the snow against the Minnesota Vikings years back. He's former Ravens wide receiver Marlon Brown, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Marlon, it's Glenn. What's going on, dude? How are you?
Glenn, what's going on, man? I appreciate you for having me again.
Man, it's good to talk to you, dude. How fun was it? Like, okay, can I present it this way? And I don't think you'll be offended by this, right? Like, you're not going to be in Canton anytime, right? Like, you're probably not going to get the
No, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Like, but from where you were as an undrafted free agent to be able to come back to this place and see yourself like immortalized, right? Because I saw you taking pictures with where they've been celebrating the snow game in the stadium, to get the love that you received from this city. What did that mean to you? How cool is it for you when you put it all into perspective, the ride you were able to have and what you were able to create for yourself after, frankly, people said they didn't think you were good enough coming out of college?
I mean, honestly, there isn't any English words to describe the feelings, that I felt while I was in Baltimore playing, and also, just going back to the game this past, week. Like, it's a lot of love out there for me still. And honestly, it's just an honor and a blessing. And it says a lot about the people, just from the city of Baltimore. So I just want to, just always say thank you to the city of Baltimore. I want to say thank you to Ozzie. Thank you to Harbaugh. Thank you to all those veterans that helped me along the way. So, I mean, it's just a really, really good feeling. And I honestly can't even express it, man. Like I really can't.
That's really cool, man. That's so cool to hear you say that and to hear the genuine emotion in your voice, bro. That's powerful stuff, dude. That is really, really cool. All right, so I got to bring this up, right, because you were on the 2015 team. That 2015 team beat the Steelers wearing mustard pants, right? Like, which I feel like is probably the most. That to be able to overcome that and beat the Steelers has got to be the most impressive win in the history of the rivalry. You obviously had watched Ravens Steelers, you knew about it. What was it like being a part of Ravens Steelers? How did it compare to like what you knew of it from just watching and seeing it from afar?
Man, Ravens Steelers, I honestly didn't realize how real of a rivalry it was until my rookie year when we played the Steelers there for the very first time in Pittsburgh. And I'll never forget, I never felt unwelcome in a place playing sports in my entire life until I was driving on that bus, driving through Pittsburgh, and I was like, oh, this is a little bit different. It kind of reminded me of Georgia, Florida, like real Georgia, Florida. Like that's how it was in college for us. So I was kind of used to that, but seeing it, obviously at a pro level it was amazing. And it was, like it's fun for all the fans, so.
You guys in 2014, that to me might be the most important win the Ravens have ever had over the Steelers because to that time the Steelers had owned the Ravens in the playoffs specifically, right? Like the Ravens had never beaten the Steelers. Going to Pittsburgh, that there's something about that place, and I don't know how to define it, dude, and I've been talking about it with people this week. The aura, the voodoo, the whatever you want to call it, good teams go there and like forget how to football, and they play that damn song, and somehow it works every time. That year in
every time,
it's insane, right? Like it's insane. That year in particular, 2014, how were you guys able to block all of that out, go to Pittsburgh, win a playoff game, exercise those demons?
Confidence, man. Like I remember that year and like that whole entire year, like everybody just on that team just had the highest confidence while playing that I've ever seen like a team play with. Like everybody was really confident in their reads, their assignments, their abilities. And honestly, like around that time, we liked playing on the road that year. Like if you look at that like a year's record, like I'm pretty sure we had a really good road record that year.
I'm going to pull it up. But it sounds correct. And, God, it should have continued a week later against the Patriots. We try to forget about that one. But it was a big deal. What can you define what it is about Pittsburgh? Like why, you referenced the college rivalry aspect of it, but like how do you block all that stuff out? How do you not allow the atmosphere, the song, all of that? How do you prevent that on game day from affecting just going out and playing the game?
I don't think you need to block it out. I think you need to embrace it. You need to embrace where you are at the stage of, the day. Like it's Sunday night, 8 p.m., you're in Pittsburgh and you playing the Steelers. Sunday night football, this shit is real. You hear that song, you hear those towels going, and you got to just literally just be like, man, like, I could be anywhere else in the world right now, but I'm right here about to go to war. Like, you got to like it. You got to really love it. So, don't block it out. Embrace it.
That's cool.
You got to embrace it.
That's cool. I dig that, man. Marlon Brown is with us here on GCR. Marlon, being back, you and I remember we talked when they were doing the voting for the best play, right, and the best game. Seeing what this dude, Lamar, and I know you now like associate as a Raven. It's part of who you are. It's part of your blood. Seeing what Lamar Jackson is doing and how he was already insanely good and yet is somehow still even better than that. Like, you watched that on Thursday night. They had 7 points midway through the third quarter and mostly 3-and-outs, and then all of a sudden, in the flip of a switch, they couldn't be stopped, and he did anything that he wanted to do, including one of the more amazing runs we'll ever see when he raced back to the 30-yard line and then took off and somehow got all the way down to the 2. Can you define what it's like to watch Lamar Jackson and how maybe jealous you are of every receiver that gets to play with him right now?
Man, it's incredible to watch that guy go out there every week and give it his all. Like, you literally see a guy giving it his all. He's putting his body on the line. You know, he's being a leader. He's taking all of the negative comments, and he's just taking it in stride, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Dude, it's really special, man. And, like, the fact that he doesn't get caught up in any of that stuff, right? Like, that he's just so hell-bent about winning. Like, it's just all he cares about. It genuinely makes it makes you emotional that, like, a player, like someone like this exists. Someone that just doesn't give a crap about anything other than being the best that he can possibly be and trying to win.
Exactly, and he's been taking all of the good with the bad and the bad with the good. So, I mean, that's all you want from a quarterback. That's all you want from a person, really. I mean, it's bare minimum.
We're not used to the defense struggling as much as it's struggling here in Baltimore, right? Like, that's not part of the DNA in this city.
Man, it's not.
I was just having this conversation where, like, I am doing everything in my power to not get caught up in it and to not obsess over it the way, like, I'm doing radio shows, getting callers. All they want to talk about is the defense. I'm like, are you guys watching the other side of the ball? Like, what's happening over there is historic. So how do you measure, like, the concern that you have about the defense versus what this offense might be capable of doing and whether or not maybe they can just go win the Super Bowl even if the defense isn't that good this year?
Nah, I think in order to win the Super Bowl, like, you have to have some kind of complementary football, you know, like on some level. Like, it doesn't have to be 100%, but it has to be, you know, very, like, situational to understand, like, okay, our offense is out here scoring points. If we get a couple stops, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll win the game, you know. So I just think we need, you know, just rush the quarterback more. We just need a little more pass rush, you know, to help those DBs on our team out.
Boy, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Boy, that would be nice.
You know,
to step
because
down.
I like Wiggins. You know, he's really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, Humphrey there. You know, so, like, we got quality guys in the back end. We just got to get a little more pass rush in. I know those guys are capable, and they probably hear the same things, you know, all week, all season long, like those D linemen. So they're going to take it to heart eventually and start showing up.
I want to run something by you because I don't know if this is just a dumb guy thing. Like, we saw last week, Jamar Chase ate their lunch, right? Like, just, I mean, it was crazy what he did. And a lot of Ravens fans will say, dude, why don't you know that's Jamar Chase? Why don't you immediately say, we're sticking two guys on him every time, and whatever happens, he's not beating us? And whenever somebody asks me that, I say, hey, this is the NFL. Like, the guy on the other side is good too. I know he's not Jamar Chase, but the other guy is good too. And if you are taking attention away from them, those guys can beat you. Like, you, once upon a time, you had, you know, Steve Smith and Torrey Smith out there. And if everybody's paying attention to Steve Smith, then Marlon Brown's just standing wide open in the middle field like, hey, cool, I'll throw me the ball. Like, can you do that? Can you just say, let's take one receiver away entirely? Or do you have to say, we got to trust our guys to try to play matchup against him? You can't afford to be paying all of your attention on one player.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to put all your attention on one player. I think at the end of the day, you know, everybody get paid, right?
Right.
It's a job, right? You know, I got a job to do, you got a job to do. So at the end of the day, you got to just do your job, you know. But like I said, if you got a guy like Jamar Chase over there, you got to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Yo.
You can't let Joe just Burrow sit back there and just look for one the whole game.
Or you got to score 35 points and 4 straight touchdowns and make it not matter.
Or that, you know what I mean? But, you know, at the same time, like, it was an exciting game. It's going to continue to be an exciting season. The schedule for the Ravens and the Steelers, oh, man, this is going to be very close run. It's going to be down to the end of the game.
All right, so what's going on with you, bro? What's happening in your life other than sweating out Georgia, Tennessee on Saturday and knowing that if they lose one more, it's probably kaput for them this season?
Why'd you have to bring that up?
Hi, bro. I bet a little. I'm just being honest with you. I bet a little American dollars on the game against Ole Miss last week because Lane Kiffin had never beat a good team, and I'm kind of down on Carson Beck at the moment.
Man.
I'm a little down.
Hey, man. Hey. Every dog has his day, you know. But honestly, I've just been playing a lot of golf. I've been trying to get my handicap down to 10. I'm at a 15 right now. I've been taking it real serious.
That's impressive,
the past
bro.
year.
That's
past
really
year and a half,
impressive.
I've been taking it really, really serious.
Yo,
So I've just been playing a lot of golf and just doing a little real estate investment.
That's
That's
cool,
about it.
man. I'm happy for you, dude. I didn't have the patience to try to get my handicap. I just sucked and said, I'm going to play something else. I'm going to go play tennis now. This is not my sport.
I genuinely love golf.
Really? Has it always been that
No,
way?
like
What led you to love golf?
I played when I was a kid. I
Okay.
played when I was a kid, and I hated it. But my grandmother put me in golf because she was like, "It's a really good life skill to just have." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." Like I'm 9 years old. I don't care about life skills. I'm just trying to go, do fun sports.
Right.
But I played golf, and I basically had to go to this program every Saturday. So I was like, I'm not going to be the worst kid here. So I got to be here. I might as well try to be one of the best kids here. So I just fell in love with it, and I played it for like 3 or 4 years. I was in tournaments and some competitions, and I just kind of stopped playing as I got older and taller. And then obviously as I retired, I just realized I was missing something. And like I wasn't missing football. I was just missing being outside, honestly. I was just missing just smelling the trees, being around grass, seeing that sun, like let it hit your skin, being out with my old teammates, and we out there just, having
cool,
fun.
man. That's
playing
so cool.
golf, being competitive.
That's so cool, dude. Are you like, I saw that you posted a little bit on Twitter while you were here, but it doesn't seem like you're really doing a lot on the socials anymore.
No, man, come on. Like I'm in real life. I'm not on the internet. It's 2 lives you can live. You can live your life on the internet, or you can live life. So it's just like, I'm going to just live life a little bit. I'm going to kind of keep the internet to, people younger than me. I used to do the internet when I was younger, but I'm a little older now, and it's not important to me no more.
I am so jealous
I just
of
want
that.
to just really catch real vibes, catch real genuine people, and just experience life.
I am ready to dump all of it, bro. Like, I am so jealous of that. It is a cesspool. It sucks. I am all in on your way of thinking. Hey, man, it is always awesome to catch up with you. Truly.
Are you going to tell the fans how you big-time me
So,
last week?
I admitted. So I said, this is straight shoot. This is straight shoot. I saw that Marlon was at the game last Thursday. Marlon, one of my favorite people ever. Like, we did shows together. I love this dude. So I said, oh, that's cool. He was in town. So I go to Facebook, and I go to message him to say, hey, bro, would you want to come on? And as soon as I go to pull up the message, he had hit me up to let me know he was coming to the game 2 weeks before, and I was an asshole. I completely missed it.
He big-time me, man. He treated me like a groupie.
Shut up. You know I love you, bro. You know you're my guy.
No, I already know, man. It's
you
all
always
love.
will be my guy. When you come back to town, I promise you, crab cakes on me. We'll go out. We'll get whatever it is, whatever I can do, whatever you miss from up here in Baltimore. We'll go out and it's on me. All right.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna try to start coming back around a little bit more. This next upcoming season and off season. So we'll definitely catch up.
I love that, dude. Marlon Brown, you're the best, bro. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning, man.
Of course, man. I appreciate y'all for having me. Go Ravens, and man, I love Baltimore.
That's
just
awesome.
like it's my second home, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy. Marlon Brown with us here on GCR. Great dude. It's seriously one of my favorites. And at a time where the Ravens needed a wide receiver, bro, he stepped up in big ways. So I appreciate him taking the time for us this morning. All right, when we come back in, we're going to make our picks for the week. Our buddy Ken Zalis joins us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, And fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Brooks Dubose profiles Maryland basketball forwards Derek Queen and Julian Reese as the Baltimore-built duo reunites in College Park with hopes of bringing the Terps back to prominence. Also inside, meet college basketball players from all of the area's D1 programs. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores, where you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCRs, continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. We are in playoff season in high school sports. MIAA Championship set to be, look, Spalding's almost certainly going to win it, but they're going to play for it over at Calvert Hall. Into the playoffs in football at the public school level. It is playoff and championship season in fall sports. And if you want all of the information, the scores, the schedules, the brackets, everything you need to know as they give away titles in the fall, you can go to countysports.zone. That's countysports.zone. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. It's a Thursday. That means it's time for us to make some picks. Joining us now, he's our buddy Ken Zalis. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I was panicked when I was sitting at 0-4 for the week last week, going into Sunday, and thought,
how'd you wind up?
I ended up going 4-5 for the week, so it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a whole lot. I've never felt better about a 4-5 in my life than I felt.
Well, starting off 0-4, I bet that's right. Yeah.
Oh my God! And it would have been. I was a half point away from doing the whole getting. It was the stupid. Texans screwed it up for me because I had the Lions at 3.5, so I could have.
Yeah. Well, that was what a crazy game that was.
It was very weird. I'm at the place where I can't play Jared Goff anymore in fantasy. I just can't do it. Like I'm picking up. I picked up Justin Herbert in my Jared Goff league. I'm gonna play him. Like I'm not continuing to pretend like this isn't happening.
I mean, I get it. I'm not. See, you know me, and enough that I don't overreact, good or bad. I'm not overreacting to the 5 interceptions.
It'd be one thing if that was it. It's that he was pedestrian.
The problem is when they're winning, he's not throwing more than 15 to 20 times. That's the bigger issue coming in. If you're going to make that point that he's just not giving me enough points, even though he's playing well, yeah, I can make that case that he's not good for fantasy right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. If you're doing it because
no, I don't think he's gonna. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna throw 5 interceptions in every game. I don't think that's the case whatsoever.
He should have thrown 7, to be honest.
100%. It was awful, and what a money laundering scheme the Texans.
And they won. I mean, and they won the game. Like if you're Houston, you're watching that film and you're like, really?
Yeah, give it up, dude. Give it up.
Like really? Maybe we're no good.
Unserious. Oh, if they lose to Cooper Rush on Monday night, they should just pack it all in. Taysom Hill or Kyle Pitts this week?
I mean, Pitts has had like one good week out of 4.
I know.
I hate the Taysom Hill thing because it's so gimmicky, but it's consistently near the goal line. It's consistently 5 to 6 touches, and you just need one touchdown to make it. As long as Carr is the quarterback, I'm going Hill. I know. It's just I don't. Atlanta's one of those teams, and we wanted to blame, the former coach about it, but I mean they're still not using their studs like they should. And the one thing I've come out of this year with Pitts is either he's not as good as we all thought he was going to be. He never lived up to his hype, and we blamed it on the coach. But now there's a different coaching system, and he's still not that dominant tight end that we all hoped he'd be. So maybe it's us that's the problem and not Pitts.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Are you Is Cortland Sutton so consistent that you're thinking about starting him over either Tyreek Hill or Terry McLaurin?
I'm not there yet. I mean, he's been consistent. I will give that. I mean, he's had some really good matchups and he's taken advantage of it over the last couple of weeks. And he's clearly the number one target in that offense. Hill's the one, like McLaurin's a must start for me. He's the number one target. Even when he doesn't score, he's going over 100 yards. He's getting 8 to 10 targets a game. He's a must start for me. Hill's the weird one for me. Like this whole Dolphin offense has been since Tua. Like we thought Tua was going to solve everything. And now Hill has the wrist thing that he's playing through. But he's Tyreek Hill. Like it's one play for 80 yards and we're kicking ourselves. I'm not quite there yet.
All right. You got anything?
Russ or Tua?
I mean,
one of them's playing the Ravens pass.
I mean, it is what it is, dude. I mean, it's Russ. Tua, like I said, hasn't been Tua since he came back, and I don't know if that's because they're protecting him more by running the ball more with the two-headed monster that they have, because of their concern, or they're telling him not to run out of the pocket anymore. But that just hasn't looked good to me. And look, it is what it is. They're playing, Russ is playing the Ravens.
Or Jordan Love, because he's playing the Bears, so I didn't really feel like I wanted to start him.
Yeah, he's. I mean, right now, smoke him if you got him type of thing when you play the Ravens.
Yeah.
All right. I can't believe I'm saying these words. Will Dissly or Jake Ferguson?
Oh, it's Ferguson's easy.
Okay. One of them has Cooper Rush as their quarterback.
I know, but one of them is targeted a lot. And Will Dissly is a TD dependent backup tight end on his own team.
All right.
I guess while we're talking, I have to keep starting CeeDee Lamb, right? Like I'm very.
I mean, what other? Unless you have something miraculous.
I have Quentin Johnston or DJ Moore on the bench right now.
I mean, you got to start CeeDee. Okay, I mean, still the targets are still there. I mean, they're throwing the ball to him.
Would you start Quentin Johnston or DJ Moore over Tank Dell?
God, that's been awful. Who's Houston playing?
They're playing Dallas on Monday night.
I'll give Dell another start.
All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Here's where we are. Top of the table, Ryan Chell still comfortably in front by 4 games. No one is making up ground. KZ is still in second place. He is sitting at 52-44, 4 games back of Ryan Chell. John Little Rock had a good week last week. He's now 5 games back. Bottom of the table, I'm still by myself, but I'm only a game behind the duo of John Proctor and Paul Valley. So still a lot to be determined on both ends. Still a lot of time left in the season. Top of the table playing for a little bit of cash. Bottom of the table, we don't want to be the one that has to come in here and get a Brazilian and get chopped up by Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master John Rollo and eat the Brazilian fruitcake, the couscous.
Paulista.
Sure,
Paulista.
That's exactly what it is. It's a sardine fruitcake. And sing Copacabana and Rio. So that's what's at stake as we get into picks for the week. 3 college games, 6 NFL games. Griffin, where do we begin?
A little bit of a softer, college football slate. Unfortunately, still not soft enough for us to go to Boulder for the 10 a.m. local kick of Colorado, Utah.
Your obsession with this is unhealthy.
Well, they're going to be in the playoff, and
they might be,
but
it's only because the big.
All they got to do is
let's make this abundantly. I want to make this abundantly clear for people that think this is a great story. If Colorado makes the playoff, it's because of one thing:
because of Dion.
The Big 12 sucks.
Good coach.
The Big 12 isn't a real league anymore.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's like the fact that we're still giving the Big 12 a bye in the playoffs with respect, you might as well give one to the American. Like, it's not a real thing any longer. But sorry, that's conversation for another day. What games are we
maybe
picking?
Boise at San Jose, that could have been fun this week, maybe.
Yeah.
Pick it. What game are we picking, Griffin?
We're going to College Park, of course.
The big one. Yeah, the big one for the week.
Big one.
Yeah.
Huge.
Rutgers.
Huge for the Terps.
Well, it is huge. If they lose
It
this,
is huge. I mean, I'm not kidding.
Yeah. This is I don't think they're gonna beat Iowa next week, but like if they lose this one, ooh boy.
Done.
It is Rutgers getting 5.5 going to College Park. It's on FS1 at 6 p.m. Saturday night.
I remember earlier in the year feeling like, well, this is not, your typical Maryland Rutgers game. Like, this is not a gimme. And Rutgers early on in the year looked like they were trying to be a thing. Like, Greg Schiano had done some things. Then they went on this terrible losing streak. They lost 4 in a row: Nebraska, Wisconsin, UCLA, USC. Couldn't even beat USC. What losers. Yeah, who does that? But they did bounce back nicely last week, and they beat Minnesota. And so they also are playing likely for their bowl hopes. And they're thinking the same thing that Maryland is, which is, well, if we're going to go to a bowl, we better win this game. I'm just so used to Rutgers. Like, the one thing that you could count on with Maryland football was they're going to beat Rutgers by 30 points. Whatever else happened during the course of the year, they could be awful. They were beating Rutgers by 30 points because Rutgers was definitively a step below. They're not definitively a step below. But 5.5 isn't that big of a number either. I don't know. I'll just go ahead and go down in flames. Maryland.
So wait a second. Let me understand something.
Yeah.
Maryland's a 5.5 point favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the other team is Rutgers.
The first team is Maryland.
I understand that. What you're saying.
You're saying
No.
it like they're not the same.
They're not the same. They're
They
not
are
the
the
same.
same.
They're not
They
the
are
same.
the same.
You're doing a bit now. They're
This
not
is
the
why
same.
This is why you've gone down in flames.
No. Listen to me. These are the scores of the Maryland Rutgers series since 2018. 34-7, 48-7, 40-16, 37-0, 42-24. Now, mixed in there, they did actually lose a game to Rutgers, but it was the pandemic year, so it doesn't count.
It counts even more. Oh.
No, nothing. I don't remember that anyone played in that game because everybody had COVID. So Maryland has. I know what you're doing. Lord knows what you're doing.
The blind is getting 5.5 points.
My point is,
Maryland.
you're wrong about Maryland and Rutgers being the same thing. As bad as Maryland has been, and you're right, Rutgers has been a decided step below them.
Yes, except in record. Head-to-head, yes.
Go ahead.
Overall record, no. They're the same. They're vying for the same.
Well, that's also not true.
Mary Poppins.
Maryland has Rutgers has
volleyball.
not come close to those, even the Mary Poppins bowl games. Rutgers has not been even in those bowl games in recent years.
I'll take the 5.5.
I get that. I knew we knew you were doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one it definitely feels tough. But Maryland, they absolutely need it to get bowl eligible. Like they have a chance to get side. Like I was already at 6 wins. They're not playing for anything else. Like I think they have a legitimate shot next week. This is Maryland.
Whoa.
I don't know that they have a legitimate shot against Iowa.
I think that if they win this game, they will. And Rutgers still has winnable games with Illinois, Michigan State.
You started out 0-4-2 last week.
I did, yeah. I guess you should feel good because you're going to be on the opposite side of me. I'm thinking Maryland. It's two not good teams. Like Rutgers is coming off a win, so I think that I think
it's influencing the line.
Yeah.
For sure.
They started 4-0. They lost 4 straight.
We were spending way too much time on Maryland Rutgers.
What else are we going to talk about?
We got to move forward.
Oh, let's move.
Ken, I guess Ken's going to be right because Ryan Shell is the only other person on Rutgers.
Woo!
They are the two. They are the two on Rutgers.
Love that.
Then to Annapolis. Navy is hosting number 25, Tulane in the Green Wave. It's on ESPN2 at noon, and Tulane are 7-point favorites.
Just go ahead and mark me down for 0-4. Navy, just go ahead and plan on me starting off.
This one was actually the toughest one for me. I don't know. I don't know what to do with the Rice game. I'm sort of just throwing it away because of
the
craziness.
the goofiness of them sitting around in the rain, right?
And it's hard for I don't know. I don't know.
This really
this is a tough one because I don't want to pretend that Tulane's been great this year.
Nah, they've been good. They've been really
good.
Yeah.
They've been good. And outside of Navy getting the doors blown off at Notre Dame, which we can excuse, they've been really, really good. And the Rice thing, I mean, they waited around for what, 5 hours?
6? Was it 5 or 6?
Like,
yeah, it was insane.
It's forever.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people are gonna be on Navy here, so I'm gonna take Tulane.
It's Tulane. Obviously, they have a lot of wins. They haven't really played anyone.
Well, no, they played. They
played
their two
Oklahoma.
losses were Oklahoma, Kansas State. The
Yeah.
2 games they played against Big 12 teams.
Right? Are we confident they're real?
Sorry.
Well, I guess Oklahoma's SEC. Come on,
yes, correct.
big
Sorry.
SEC team.
Sorry.
The North Texas game was close, but they led that one by over 2 touchdowns, pretty much until the final minutes. I'm gonna go Navy. So our Tim Murray had a great stat on Senior Day over the last 20 years. Navy is 19-1.
That's well and good, but for some of those years they were playing like South Alabama on Senior Day. Going back 20 years is a bit that predates the conference. That's not a good measure.
The lone loss was 2021 against ECU. They still covered in that one.
Okay,
too.
There you go.
I'm taking Navy. Ken's on Tulane, as is Jeremy Kahn. John Proctor, both the Johns, John in Little Rock and John Proctor on Tulane, as is Kyle Ottenheimer.
All right, so we've got Ryan.
We do have Ryan.
All
yes.
right, the savant. There we go.
Then College Game Day is going to they're going to be in Athens, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia's laying 10 against they're number 12 ranked, number 7 Tennessee coming in getting 10 points.
What's the story on Nico? What are we? Where are we at with him?
I don't think he's gonna. Well, let's find out. Make sure I can spell his name right. Iamaliava? I think I spelled it right.
Yeah. Good luck.
Nico is he's still questionable. Let's see. Any insider info? Let's see. I don't know. I mean, the unnecessary roughness Barstool account said.
Well, no, that was just copying.
Last.
No, that was apparently the Bear, Chris Fallica, on a podcast said he wasn't expected to play, but he wasn't reporting that.
Yeah.
It was just him flippantly saying it on a podcast, like he wasn't expected to play, and so that was immediately shot down by all of the.
He was participating in teamwork yesterday, according to Josh or Austin, these Tennessee beat writers.
Right. Here's the thing: if he plays,
trending in the right direction,
I probably like Tennessee. Carson Beck stinks.
Yeah, he does.
He stinks. He's awful. I don't know what happened to him, but. My God, that guy has cost himself a boatload of money this season.
Sure just sat out.
Seriously. So this is very difficult because it's what is the risk that Nico doesn't play? Because if he doesn't play, then 10 points is insane. But I'm going to assume based on where the line is that somebody knows something. They know he's playing, and because of that, I'm going with Tennessee.
10 points.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched Georgia?
So what's the line?
Georgia minus 10.
Oh, I'm getting
wait, Georgia. Wait. Georgia's minus 10?
Yeah.
Oh, then they think Nico's not playing. My
Right.
fault. Oh, I completely misread that. Okay, then Tennessee.
Make sure I typed everything. Yeah,
Tennessee.
okay, I sent it right.
Tennessee. Yeah, my fault. I completely.
Yeah,
Are we allowing this, Ken?
Yeah, no, it's
I
fine.
went with Tennessee anyway.
fine.
I already said Tennessee.
That's why I always ask for clarity on the line because
I'm
sometimes I look at it really quick and I'm like, that can't be right.
Yeah, they think he's not playing clearly.
Tennessee and Texas have been the 2 college teams that I've just almost blindly taken because I've been believers in them, and it's 10's too much. I don't care who's in, who's out. Tennessee's a good football team. They've been a good football team all year. I'll take Tennessee.
I think I'm just gonna die taking the Bulldogs. I still have belief in Kirby Smart. Maybe not the rest of this team. But I'm still gonna believe in Kirby Smart, despite 10 points being a ton. And I expect these two teams to swap spots in the rankings next week. So I'll take the Bulldogs. Ken and Glenn on 10. And Andrew Stecca joining you guys on the Vols, as is Paul Valley and Ryan Shell.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Market a win.
Tonight on Prime Video in Philly, the Eagles are hosting the Commanders. And the Eagles, everyone listen up. The Eagles are favorites, 3.5 point favorites.
3.5?
3.5.
They've looked really good. Man, I don't know what to do with this one at all. They're
going to fire Sirianni if he loses tonight. They try to fire Sirianni after wins.
Like, I don't. This is the other thing too is is the bloom coming off the rose for Washington or not? Have they just run into a couple of? They have not looked as good, save for the Hail Mary, for weeks. Man, I hate this. I'm Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think this is a particularly close game. I mean, part of the Commanders' problems is they haven't had Robinson.
Right, and they get him back.
They get him
tonight.
back to kind of, the thing that's been great is they played a little. I know we want to talk about how explosive they've been and how Daniels, but they've also been really good on the ground and controlled the ball a little bit. But Philadelphia's figured something out the last couple of weeks, and I think Washington's a playoff team. I just don't think they can hang with Philly. I don't see this being that close. Maybe a 10-point win. I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think I like both offenses. I particularly like A.J. Brown versus the Commanders secondary, and I think the Eagles defense is pretty legit. I think they said no Marshawn Lattimore, right? Is he?
Yes,
is he
he's
out?
not playing.
Yeah,
correct.
So yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'll lay the 3.5. I hope it's a good game because we're gonna be watching. But yeah, I'll take the Eagles. Two backers of the Commies, Paul Valley and John in Little Rock, are going on the Commanders.
All right.
To Sunday, which jump to the 4 o'clock window on Fox. It is Denver hosting Atlanta. The Broncos are laying 2.5 against the Falcons.
Is that right? Like, that doesn't feel. This is one of those games where I thought that last week's result probably impacted it. And I thought that you could get Denver as a value here, and instead you got to take them as favorites. I don't love that. Atlanta is completely Jekyll and Hyde, man. That's the problem is, I want to be disrespectful to them, but there's going to be another week where they're going to pop up and be legitimate. I wasn't surprised by the Broncos being competitive last week, but I also still think it's fool's gold. I don't think they're a good team. I think they have a good defense. I think they're suspect. This is the problem with these two. This matchup is these two teams seem like they're both fraudulent. So when you have two teams that both seem like they're fraudulent, the smart bet would be, well, just take the team that's getting the points, right? If you don't trust either team, take the team that's getting the points. I don't know why. Denver.
You just said that whole thing.
I know.
I
don't know why. I don't have a reason for it. I think it really is because going into the week.
I think you need to start doing the George Costanza bit.
What?
If every instinct I have.
Oh
is
yeah,
wrong.
just do the exact opposite thing. 100%. 100%.
You've been doing that your whole life. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Atlanta because of everything that Glenn
and then did the other thing.
Said, and then didn't go with himself. The problem here is Denver's offense, which is getting better. I applaud them for making the move at running back and going with the younger, quicker guy. But they're still missing that secondary passing guy. Franklin's not there yet. Tight end is a wasted space for them right now. I agree with you with Atlanta. It doesn't make you feel good, but they're getting 2.5, so I'll take them.
I like Bo Nix. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. And I don't trust the Falcons. I'm not going to trust the Falcons for quite a bit. I still don't trust Kirk Cousins either. So and I like the Broncos defense. So they're at home, and at 2.5 they're favorites, but whatever. I'm taking the Broncos laying the points. KZ is on Atlanta. You are joined by Joe Serpico, James Revere, and Andrew Stecca.
We got Ryan. That's the part that matters. Yes.
Staying in the 4 p.m. window at 4:05, San Francisco is hosting Seattle, and the Niners are 6.5-point favorites.
I think I gotta just let somebody else make my picks for me. I have no idea how to pick
the
this
boys.
game. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that pretty soon. San Francisco isn't. They're definitely better with Christian McCaffrey. There's no debate about that. It maybe didn't look that way last week. Part of that obviously being that they missed 3 field goals. But at the same time, it's a Seattle team coming off a bye that's had 2 weeks to prepare. We respect everybody that thought that Mike McDonald should have been the coach in Baltimore, probably should be respecting what he would have 2 weeks to prepare for facing San Francisco. And now you're playing with 6.5 points. But I don't trust Geno Smith. I think he stinks now. San Francisco is the
Say it with your chest. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 49ers as well. I mean, I get Seattle just hasn't been trustworthy this year. I don't know what is DK. I don't know how healthy he is. That makes a big difference in their overall passing game. Geno hasn't been what we saw from Geno last year. And the 49ers aren't going to miss 3 field goals every single week. And if one of those field goals becomes a touchdown, that game last week isn't that close. So it's less than a touchdown. I'll take the 49ers.
I just remembered JSN or Jameson Williams.
Wish I knew more about DK. Probably JSN.
Okay, that's what I was leaning that way. I learned my lesson. I tried to take Seattle against San Francisco on the Thursday night a few weeks back. I'm not going to do that again. The Niners always beat Seattle. I will take San Francisco, even though 6.5 does feel like a lot. They're at home. Jeremy Kahn is on the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
As are the Johns.
Seahawk Tuas.
Yeah. The Johns and Paul Valley on Seattle. So we do have Ryan Shell on the Niners.
Hey.
They're calling it the game of the week, I guess. CBS is on 425. Buffalo Bills.
It's actually a real problem because I don't know if you guys are red zone guys, but the red zone has to turn off when there's only one game left playing. So this is a massive problem. There's only one 425 game because it means they're going to have to turn off red zone pretty quick.
We get it, right? I mean, we get.
Yeah, we can flip over and watch the game, but it's just not as much fun. Like it's just
because you have to change the channel. Because then you realize, football's over.
That's it, right?
Football's over.
They might as well go ahead and hit that 60 Minutes promo. The Sunday Scaries pop in. It's the whole thing. Don't like that.
The Chiefs are going to Buffalo, and the Bills are 2-point favorites.
You giving me the Chiefs as underdogs? That's as stupid as giving them as big favorites. Like, there's 2 things I know I'm not doing. It's taking the Chiefs as big favorites, and it's picking against them as underdogs. Chiefs.
I like when a plan comes together. I'm going to take the Bills.
How'd that go for you taking the Chiefs last week as big favorites? How'd that work?
What's that?
How'd it work out for you taking the Chiefs as big favorites last week?
Yeah, it did not work well.
Yeah.
It never does, and I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to work, but
I think the Bills are better. I want to make this abundantly clear. I think the Bills are better than the Chiefs.
I think they are too, and I was talking. I forget who I was talking with. Kansas City should legitimately have 4 losses.
Yeah.
Like we're pretending like this is the same old Chiefs, and they probably will be once we get to the playoffs. But they're not explosive. They're not there's nothing to love about their offense. Defense is good, but I don't. My only holdback here is that that Mr. Allen likes to turn the ball over. But I'm going to take the Bills here.
All right, Ken on the Bills. The Chiefs are getting points. I'm taking Kansas City. I don't really have too much else to add there. Andrew Stecca joins Glenn and I on Kansas City. Jeremy Kahn on the Chiefs. Ryan Shell on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody else on the Bills.
Sound like Marv Albert right now. Yes.
DK, by the way, practiced full yesterday, so I think they're expecting him to
fantastic.
play. Yeah. The Cincinnati Sunday Night Football on NBC. Cincinnati Bengals are going to Los Angeles, taking on the Chargers, and the Chargers are 1.5-point favorites.
This is the thing. I still believe in the Cincinnati Bengals, but I'm taking the Chargers here. I think the Chargers have a unique ability to get Cincinnati off of their game. The Ravens didn't do that. They played the Ravens game, which is now no defense, and score 1 billion points. I think the Chargers have the ability to muck it up, to frustrate them, and to get them to do those things. So the Chargers are my pick here.
See, I'm sort of the opposite. I don't know what I don't really believe in the Chargers. I don't know why.
Greg Roman is why.
Huh?
Greg Roman.
Well, that's part of it. Like if they get behind, I don't know. They're just a weird team to me, even though they're playing well and they can run the ball. But I agree with you. It's like everybody is burying the Bengals. I'm glad the Ravens are done with them. So, because they're going to go on a streak at some point and win 4 out of 5. And I hope it's when they play the Steelers. I'm gonna take the Bengals here.
I think the Bengals are still legit, but they keep playing good teams, and I'm not gonna take them against teams that I believe are good. And the Chargers are playing good. Again, I don't think the Chargers can win a Super Bowl this year, but I think the Chargers are a good team. They're at home, and 1.5 isn't a whole lot. So I will take the Chargers. You said Chargers, right, Glenn?
Yes.
Okay. KZ is on the Bengals, as is Paul Valley, John Proctor on Cincinnati, and James Revere on the Cincinnati Bengals. So that means Ryan Shell's on the Chargers for everyone keeping score there. Yeah.
I'm either going to catch up this week,
right, or you're going to be down by 11 games, right?
Or I'm gonna get closer to Glenn.
Right.
The Ravens are going to Pittsburgh 1:00 on Sunday on CBS, and the Ravens are laying 3 points.
If this was 3.5, I would be on the Steelers.
What's going on over there?
I don't know what's happening.
Are you trying to watch tennis? Is that what it is?
No, tennis is. I'm good for a little while. Taylor Fritz won. And that's why I'm trying to figure out why wouldn't if you would be on the Steelers at 3.5, why wouldn't you be on the Steelers at 3? Right? What's the real difference there? But I keep coming back to something from a matchup standpoint. As much as we all say, well, he's just tossing those balls up to George Pickens, and against the Ravens secondary, that could be a problem. Well, of course it could. Of course it could be a problem. But it could be a problem in any game, and yet we still pick the Ravens to win games. The Steelers' defense is good. It is, and T.J. Watt breathes. I understand that. But good defenses have not been the antidote for the Ravens' offense. It hasn't mattered. On the flip side, the Steelers' success with Russell Wilson has started with running the football. And those 3 straight games that Najee Harris had of over 100 yards rushing. And I don't have the concern that they're going to be able to do that to set up the pass against the Ravens. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't keep throwing the ball all day against the Ravens, as other teams have. But the teams that come in wanting to run the ball to set up the pass, like the Buffalo Bills, have not found success against the Baltimore Ravens. And if you get off to a sluggish start, I just don't think that the Steelers' defense matters all that much. I think from a matchup standpoint, the Ravens have a significant advantage. It's just the Pittsburgh thing. It's just the voodoo, man. The remembering, everyone trying to make it seem like the Steelers have Lamar Jackson's number, which is hogwash. The one game that he played particularly poorly against the Steelers, they won. And then last year, he was the best quarterback in football the week they played against the Steelers. His receivers just all dropped the ball. So that's what this comes down to. Will the derp catch up to the Ravens on Sunday or not? Ravens is the pick.
I feel like we could do an hour on this.
Mm-hmm.
7 out of 8 is real.
It's not real. It's not remotely real.
It is real.
No, it's not real because half of those games were irrelevant.
Okay, but this is why it's real, Glenn, because it never seems to matter. we can go further back than the last 8. And we can talk about all the backup quarterbacks the Ravens have faced over the years when they've played the Steelers and blah, blah, blah. It just always seems like this is a one-score game more times than not. And I agree with you that 3.5, because of the hook, like sounded so much better. But I've had this rule over the last 2 years with the Ravens, and I kind of did it with the Denver Bronco game. If the NFL thinks you're a good team coming in to face the Ravens have blown you out over the last couple of years. Like literally, legitimately blown you out. Everybody's talking about how Pittsburgh may be one of the best 3 teams in the AFC. I think the Ravens blow them out. I think if they can figure out how to neutralize Watt without Highsmith on the other side, that's a big loss for them.
I agree.
It's a big loss for the Ravens.
Yeah, the Kyle Hamilton thing is very significant.
The Hamilton thing, but in a sense, it may help. And what I mean by that is that I think you have to play very basic and very vanilla, and kind of the Dean Pease school of defense comes into play here, and just don't let them get behind you, and play run defense, and don't let them get behind you too high safety, Tampa 2, whatever you want to call it. Nobody's stopping Lamar Jackson this year. Nobody's stopping this offense. They're a cheat code. I said it from day one after seeing how Henry and Lamar are in the backfield. I think the Ravens win by 17.
Wow.
I do. I like the 10-day break for the Ravens. I think that's very helpful, especially given I guess Kyle Hamilton, but it seems like he might not play anyway. And there are few exceptions where I break that rule of the Steelers getting points, especially at home under Mike Tomlin. And I don't think this is one of those exceptions. I'm not gonna break it here. It's Ravens Steelers. It's gonna be a close game. I think there probably is a scenario where the Ravens can pull away, like Casey said. But I think it's gonna be a very close game, and Steelers are getting points. They're at home. So for the first time all season, I'm gonna go against the Ravens here. I got Steelers 23, Ravens 25.
That would count. That would count.
Yeah.
That would work for you.
That'll work. I will take the Steelers. John in Little Rock is on the Steelers. Ryan Shell on the Steelers.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Could have if I have a good week, we have a new leader.
Right.
'Cause I think we picked opposite 6 times.
Yikes. All right. You with us on Sunday?
I am.
Very good. Project Game Day immediately following Ravens Steelers. Come over, hang out with us. PressBoxOnline.com/gameday. It's brought to you by the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Love you, buddy. We'll talk to you on Sunday.
Talk to you Sunday. Thanks, guys.
It's KZ with us every Thursday for picks. We'll talk more about Ravens Steelers. Our buddy Dave Dameshek joins us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Brace yourselves for an unparalleled in-person betting experience at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook and Bars in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between our on-site tellers or the convenience of our self-bet kiosks to place your bets. Gather your betting buddies and head over to the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks today. Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. The ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
Hey Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Maulet, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Maulet Show. We will be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Maulet. The Arthur Maulet Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
The next Arthur Maulet Show is Tuesday, November 19th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. It's brought to you by Easy Pass and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. This guy that's about to join us, now he's at the Shek Show. Over the years, you've loved him at NFL Network. You loved him on the Corolla Show. In 2006, I was working at Free FM 101.5 in Phoenix. And I was a fan of this dude. And my then program director, Chris Paddock, said, well, I'm bringing him in. He's going to do a show from Phoenix one day. I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, no, what if this guy's an a-hole? Like, what if, and it's been the exact opposite of that. For 20 years, he has been nothing but the best dude and a friend to me, and it was fun hanging out on his show this week. I like everything about him other than the team that he roots for. He is our buddy Dave Dameshek, and he is back with us now here on GCR. Hey, bud, how are you?
Well, I mean, I don't know what sort of psychological games you're attempting with me, but I ain't taking the bait.
Yeah,
I don't like you.
Yeah,
I've never liked
you. Too. I know that's true.
If it's ever felt like maybe Dave does kind of like me, it was all an act.
That's a hell of an act. But that's damn good, bro. Damn good act.
I don't care for you or your kind.
You guys put French fries on sandwiches and pretend you've offered something to society.
That's right. You know what we've offered to society? I'm glad you reminded me of this, because I don't know if your audience is up to speed on this. I mean, I'll leave out the pre-Super Bowl era backstory of how Art Modell bought a professional football team named for its former owner and creator, Paul Brown. And Art Modell came in there and said, you're out, Paul. And he said, well, you can't fire me, man, because the team's named after me. He's like, well, that's what I'm doing. And then Paul Brown moved down to Cincinnati and immediately said, give me uniforms that look as much like the Browns uniforms as possible. That's for Ohio.
That's correct. That's their problem.
I'm going to move this football team over to Charm City. And so he did, and rebranded it. The Baltimore Purples? No, he named it after a poem about a bird penned by a cosmopolitan Northeasterner who spent the majority of his life in New York City and Boston. Then late in life, he moved to Baltimore, married his cousin, got drunk, and died.
Yes.
In a gutter, by the way.
Yes,
So that's that one side of this bitter rivalry of the millennium, the greatest in football. Now, the other side, just in case everybody's not up to speed,
right?
The other side, the Steelers, they're named for the mid-century heroes who forged the materials used to make the artillery and the tanks and the battleships that defeated the Nazi scourge. So go ahead and choose. Which side of the rivalry are you on? That's up to you.
It's a great point.
Look in the mirror and decide.
It's a great point. I think you should pick the side of the rivalry represented by Steely McBeam. How's that guy doing? How's old Steely doing these days?
He's as I've called him many times before since you mentioned Carolla. He's jaundiced Adam Carolla. If you get a good look at Steely McBeam, once you see it, you aren't going to be able to.
I'm gonna have to look at it again. I'm gonna have to look at it again because that sounds pretty good. All right, how are you actually feeling about this team? This is the part. Like, we all knew in 2020 that when they started, what was it, like 13-0, that they were frauds. Everybody knew they were frauds in 2020. That was not surprising. This team, I can't figure out what the line is between it's a fun, good story, Mike Tomlin, who, of course, we will continue to hate because he legitimately tried to trip Jacoby Jones and has lied about it for a decade. He legitimately attempted to trip the man on the sideline, the late, great Jacoby Jones. But that said, we all know that he's an amazing coach. I can't figure out what the line is between this is a Mike Tomlin masterclass versus this really is a team that has a chance to win the AFC. I think it's more of the former, but I'll allow you to attempt to talk me into the latter.
First of all, Tomlin was just towing the line established by his predecessor, Bill Cowher, who you may recall it was
for
the
looking
AFC
like a rat.
North and
yeah, that's what I recall from Bill Cowher, for looking like a rat.
That wasn't what I was pointing at.
Yeah.
Cowher, I think it was still the AFC North, although I might be getting it confused. It might have been the AFC Central when it was that meaty sextet that included the Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans and all that mess.
Yep.
But Cowher, at the end of a Monday night game, just about slugged the Jaguar who had scooped a blocked field goal running down the sideline. He almost punched him. So that's all Tomlin was doing. He almost tripped Jacoby Jones. He didn't actually trip him.
Yeah, totally. And he had no idea. He was just looking up at the screen like people do, turning their back to the field.
Oh, wait. Right. Was he behind me there?
Yeah, that's so weird how that worked out.
I have to say, I don't mean to self-promote. I'm collectively promoting. It was a really good conversation that me, you, and a couple other Bengals and a Browns rep put together. We did a quartet, a meeting of the AFC North families. Track it down, Shek Show on YouTube. I bring it up because if you're a Glenn Clark fan, you will enjoy his performance on that show. And it also was a great tone setter for where things are in the North now and in history. The history between our two teams, obviously, as we've discussed, is low-scoring affairs, real tight. I do think maybe the game winds up very tight, as it traditionally does. The difference here is I'd like to buy that Tomlin, as he has done over and over and over again since the Roethlisberger elbow injury now, which is like 5 years old, which is hard to believe. From that moment on, he sort of went into the lab and figured out how to drag the worst team, the best team, and the Ravens are closer to the best team than worst in the league, dragging them all down into the mud and obscuring who they are by getting them all dirty, including themselves, the Steelers. Every game is in the teens, and it's bizarre when you see the, the otherwise in the QB league, 39-38 type of final, sort of like you see when the Ravens and Bengals played last Thursday night. So it's hard. I hear what you're saying. It trips your brain up to say, well, how would the Steelers offense be able to just practically hang? How would they be able to keep up with the Ravens? And I think I'm not saying anything you don't already know. The puncher's chance I feel like Pittsburgh has in this one, and maybe I'll be, maybe we'll both be surprised by the result. Maybe it'll be the typical 13-10 or 20-17 kind of final. But I'm inclined to think that if Pittsburgh is to come out victorious in this one, it is by taking advantage of what I've been talking about since August, which is the poor Ravens pass D. They don't have a pass rush.
Yep.
They're a little slight on the back end, and maybe the combo of Pickens now with Mike Williams on the other side of the field and Russ throwing moon balls to either side is tasking Kenny Hamilton and company a little bit too much, and maybe they can break through for a couple of scores to keep up with Lamar Jackson. Because I don't think in 2024 with what Lamar is doing right now, I mean, this is a 2-time MVP.
It's insane.
And he is playing better than he's ever played before. And so that's remarkable stuff. So I don't think the idea, like, let's just hold him down, take the air out of the ball, and keep it away from Lamar, I don't think that's a winning premise. I think they have to some degree, shoot it out a little bit.
Dave Dameshek is with us on GCR. Dude, what you just said is exact. I don't think defense matters at this point against Lamar. I just don't think it does. I think he is impervious to it. And I think the Steelers, while statistically maybe the Broncos have as good or not a better defense than the Steelers, I think the presence of T.J. Watt makes me believe the Steelers' defense is better than the Broncos is. That said, I just don't know that it matters. I don't know that there's anything you can do defensively right now. And, yes, part of it is aided by the fact that Derrick Henry is also in that backfield, and you're trying to pick your poison on every play. I just don't know that defense matters. But to your point, yeah, the thing that concerns me, how could you not be concerned by, Brandon Stevens is going to be locked up one-on-one with George Pickens at times during the day. And, we saw how that worked out for Benjamin St. Juste last week. It's just – that's bad. That's bad, and that's extraordinarily concerning if the Steelers have the ball last on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. And it kind of feels like, and the Steelers, obviously, this $1 billion defense they have, in terms of points allowed and everything else, they're in the right place for what you would want as a Steelers fan. But if you're watching the games, they're getting got here and there in spots where it's sort of a head scratcher and quite vexing. The Giants on Monday Night Football just about beat the Steelers.
That's right.
They're a play
bad.
here or there.
Right.
And again, then you asterisk all of that by saying, like, well, that's how every Mike Tomlin game goes, or 95% of them go. They're all like a play here or a play there, and that's what it's all built around. But there's some troubling letdowns in terms of stuffing the run, third downs, and all of that. They're not necessarily getting big played every game, but obviously Lamar Jackson is big play in every team he plays. So, maybe it is more Bills, Chiefs adjacent than those of us who are steeped in what this rivalry is all about, which is to say maybe, Minkah Fitzpatrick on one side or Kenny Hamilton on the other. Like, if you can create one extra possession somewhere in the second half, that may be the difference in the game. And the other thing is, I like to make fun of Justin Tucker because I once tweeted that kickers these days are too good, that they're like that the game was not
supposed to be this. Yeah, that's a great point, actually.
To be undone by guys just with regularity making 57-yard field goals. They've gotten too good, and he shot back offended by that. Like, no, we make it look easy. It's not easy. And like, all right, man, settle down. I'm not coming at you.
It's not that deep, right?
Too good. I'm just saying. So the irony of him being the one guy who can't make 50-plus yarders with any regularity is a sad irony. And that's a conversation you and me need to have on the next AFC North roundtable, is a real deep dive on, because it is a fascinating thing. The Ravens, because of Cundiff, then go to Justin Tucker.
Yep.
And they jump the rest of the league with this guy who's like, what the hell? Like, if they're on your side of the field, they're getting 3. And then they can wire their offensive approach around that. Like, and that wins them games. And then that wins them divisions. And that gets them into the playoffs. If the Ravens had a league average kicker all this time, what would they be? Would they
for
be
a few
more
of those
like
years.
the Bengals?
Yeah.
Would they be like a couple good years, but they're not like a perennial power.
No, it definitely made a difference. There's no debate about that. It was the wild card in the late Flacco years, and probably in that first Lamar. Well, no, that first Lamar Jackson team was running over everybody at will. So I don't know if that made the difference there, but certainly in the late Flacco years, it no doubt made the difference, right? And It sucks now. Like being in the place where everybody else is. I'm thinking about the Thursday night. There was a Thursday night game. The Ravens were 0-3. They played it in Pittsburgh. I think Michael Vick started for the Steelers in this game. And I don't know why, but my wife wanted to go to this game, and I stopped going to games a long time ago when I'm not on the beat. The home is so great for watching football. I have no interest in going to football games if I'm not specifically paid to do it. But she made me go with her to this Thursday night game in Pittsburgh, and ironically, the Steelers won the coin toss, and so they had to take the ball. But the moment they took the ball, because I don't remember who was the kicker at the time. I don't think it was Boswell. I said, "Oh, the Ravens just won the game." And my wife looks at me like, "Isn't it a bad thing that they don't have the ball first?" I'm like, "Yeah, but now the Ravens can tell them to go into the open end of the stadium, and their kicker sucks. Like, we're good. We're good." And I think Tomlin wouldn't even try. Like, they marched the ball down. You look up the details on this, Griffin, because they marched down. It was a Thursday night game. Whatever the year was, the Ravens started 0-3, week 4, 15, 16, something in that range. And the moment they picked the open end of the stadium and a kicker that sucks, the Ravens won the game because on the other end they had Justin Tucker, and all they had to do was get to about the 35, and they were good for 38 at that point. Like
it's funny because if you watch football, if your football watching transcends the last 10 years, your brain still goes to like you still are like, oh yeah, there are 38 seconds left, like the Bengals Ravens game. If the Bengals go for 2 and they get it, it's like, oh, you left too much time.
100%.
I think we're only just now getting up to speed on that reality. It's like, game over. We scored with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left. Good luck coming back now. It's like, well, they're always going to come back now. Like the game is so different largely because of the kicker's range and consistency and hitting from that range.
Dave, I fist pumped when the Bengals scored. That's a straight. I was sitting on my couch, and when they scored, I fist pumped because I said it doesn't matter now. Nothing matters now. If they get the 2, who cares? The only thing it was going to come down to the point, is whether or not Justin Tucker was going to make the kick. That's all that it was going to come down to. By them scoring with that much time and the Ravens still having 2 timeouts, I said, the Ravens just won. I'm good.
Sure.
Like, they just won the game.
But now the trick for the thing that's crazy for a Ravens fan, there are 2 things that are sort of negative in another great season overall for Baltimore. Is one, Tucker doesn't make kicks as consistently anymore, so that's not the dependable feature that you always had over every just about at least every other team in the league. And the other one is the thing, Tomlin was talking about it this week. Harbaugh talks about it all the time, and different rivalries. I think the point of reference that most sports fans go with is the different styles of Ali and Frazier is what made that one so compelling. What's weird about and fascinating about the Ravens-Steelers rivalry is that they're mostly mirror images of each
100%.
other. They approach drafting the same way.
Everyone within the Ravens organization over the years acknowledged that their singular purpose was to replicate the Steelers. That was
right.
That
well,
was
Ozzie Newsome got a good up close look at it on the wrong side of the Pennsylvania-Ohio border for too long, so he knew what to do. And then it changes radically at QB when Lamar Jackson comes in there. But the other thing that's changed is, I think, 3 to 5 years ago, the Ravens stayed true to that philosophy and really continued to invest at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Whereas the Steelers were, with Roethlisberger late in his career, we're kind of drafting for the fancy pieces, the finishing pieces, a wide receiver here, a game breaker over there, and they lost their soul a little bit. They didn't lean into offensive line and otherwise. I feel like it's kind of flipped now. And you guys, Ronnie Stanley's comeback is important to that offensive line. I don't think it's a great offensive line.
No,
I think
it's not.
Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry make it look better than it is. And that's a concern against T.J. Watt and that pass rush.
100%.
And then the other side is that you guys just don't have that you associate the Steelers and the Ravens with, like, man, you don't want to be down to one of those teams in the second half because they will heat you up. And the Ravens don't have that anymore. I know they're light on the back end, but it's really a lack of pass rush that is damning them this season. And you guys were Justin Houston, we'll get him in here, Jadeveon Clowney. You don't have
100%.
anybody like that this year.
I mean, Kyle Van Noy had 3 weeks where he had 6 sacks, right? And we were all like, "Oh man!" But that's it. That's what it was, and that's You're right. It's a mess. Also, we still haven't forgiven you from the year that you guys were able to get Alejandro Villanueva to be a secret agent for you and go put on purple for a year and be maybe the worst offensive tackle I've ever seen in my entire life in Baltimore. I mean, my God, what an abomination that was.
I don't mean to say you got duped, but you got duped. That's what it's very much like as a hockey fan in Pittsburgh, PA. I'm vexed still and always will be that the Penguins brought in Ron Hextall from the Flyers.
How dare
to be the GM? What did you think was going to happen? I worship 66 Lemieux, but boy, that was a miss. What did you think was going to happen, friend? A little too trusting. What did you think the Flyer legend was going to come in here to do? He was double agenting the whole time, and I said it from day one.
100%. 2015, the Steelers got the ball first, moved it to the Ravens' 33-yard line.
Sean Swisham.
Is that who it was?
I'm guessing.
Okay. Look up, Griffin, real quick. Who was the kicker?
2015?
2015
I believe it was
Steelers
Josh Scobie, actually.
Josh Scobie was the kicker. Yuck.
I almost went Scobie. Maurice Jones-Drew's son, by the way, when Maurice Jones-Drew was a Jags icon, his son asked for a Jags jersey, and Maurice was thrilled by this, of course, and he wanted he wanted Josh
Scobie, just because he had a funny name.
He got a Scobie jersey. Imagine being a star NFL runner, and that's what you did. Your son does.
Josh Scobie jersey. That's funny. Yeah, they wouldn't go for it from the 33-yard line. He wouldn't kick the field goal. Tried to go for it on 4th down, missed. The Ravens got the ball back, went to the 35. They won specifically because they lost the coin toss in overtime that day. That's the only reason they won that game, and it's the only memorable thing about the 2015 Ravens, who stunk. Dave Dameshek, what can I plug for you, brother?
Well, I mean, I'll steer it right back because I really enjoyed it so much, and I really do hope that it can build into something
we do
fun, periodically. It was the AFC North Roundtable. Look for it on YouTube and otherwise. Shek Show, also Shek Show on YouTube. Our Week 11 picks. I will issue my Steelers-Ravens final score. Spoiler alert, I try to toe the line of objectivity, but when it comes to playing the Balt Birdies, good luck. Yeah, I'm not going to pick against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go, Steelers.
Enjoy all of your many bridges. Enjoy all of the many wonderful things that Pittsburgh has to offer the football team and nothing else.
Pierogies.
Here, come visit Pittsburgh. You can get on an incline. That's what we have to offer.
Meet Steelers legend Josh Scobie.
Go. Dave, you're the best, brother. Always appreciate you. I hate you for the next few days of the week. I can then remind people that you're a great dude after that. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you taking the time for me.
Thank you, Pally. Best wishes this weekend, and then in the rematch in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll have to redo it all over again.
Would love to, brother. Appreciate you. Dave Dameshek, love that guy. Love him, despite the fact that he roots for the wrong football team. Genuinely funny human, and truly one of the good dudes in this business. So what are we doing here, Griffin? You tell me. Are we? Oh, we're just okay. I didn't know if we were taking a break. I never know how these things work.
Sorry, my bad.
You're good. You're good. I just needed the answer. That's all. There's things that I get mad at you about. This is not one of them. Your obsession with Colorado. Wanting every game to be in picks.
When
they play BYU, they'll probably end up being in picks. I don't know what week. If it's the same week as Ohio State, Michigan, and other big games, maybe it won't be. But like that week, I would guess that Colorado will probably find their way into picks because that game does matter. But trying to get me to include Colorado versus who are they playing this week? Who is that?
Utah.
Stop it.
It's Big Noon Kickoff.
Stop it. So
Big Noon
dumb.
Kickoff week.
Boy, there's a lot of the internet is obsessed with Big Noon Kickoff this week. By the way.
Well, why? Because it's 10 a.m.
No, they don't care about that because they're sick of the Ohio State games always being at noon. Like, these are big games that people want to watch, and they're almost always
They would not
noon.
play BYU until the Big 12 championship.
Okay. So, presumably that week we're going to have to pick the Big 10 championship and the SEC championship. So, there's room for a third in there.
Depending who's on the American championship.
Yeah, if Navy's in it, then you're out. Yeah, right. you're getting the boot again, unfortunately.
Or we could do 4. Maybe it'll be a bad
NFL
is that
week.
When the Ravens are on bye? Maybe we just
maybe
we do 4 and 5.
Maybe that's what we do. All right, we will discuss some other things this morning as we've been doing a lot of Ravens Steelers this week. Understandably so. It is what matters most. But we're going to step out of that for a second because I, as everybody knows, I'm not the biggest golf guy in the world. But I went to the BMW Championship in 2021, took my father, and the atmosphere was insane. It was unbelievable. It was such a cool thing for our community to have that event, all the best players in the world, people going nuts. I couldn't have loved it anymore, and I am fired up for the fact the BMW Championship is back at Caves Valley in 2025. Joining us now to tell us a little bit more about it, he is Vince Pellegrino. Sorry, I apologize. I got to make sure I have everything right here before we start this conversation because I want to make sure I have. Vince, can you tell me what your title is? Because I apologize. I pulled up the message and realized it wasn't in front of me, and I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's Senior VP of Tournaments. So
Thank
essentially,
you.
I'm the tournament director for the BMW Championship.
Thank you. I'm literally trying to pad so I can pull it up, and then I realize I don't have it, and now I feel like a jerk, and I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
For that,
Not a problem.
Vince, before we get into what you guys, where we are at this point, almost not quite a year away, just what it means, take me back to 2021, how significant 2021 was in establishing Caves as a place that can host these types of events for this area, this region, as a host of this type of event, and why it was such a no-brainer that events like this needed to be back at Caves in the future.
Well, it sounded like we hooked you a little bit on golf back in 21, with the finish that we had. I mean, it was electric. You're right. I mean, the support we had from the corporate community, the spectators that showed up, that Sunday was just absolutely electric with, Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Cantlay battling in a playoff, a 6-hole playoff, the longest playoff we've had in the history of the championship. I mean, it couldn't have got any better than that. So when you take a look back at that finish, the spectators that had a great time at the tournament, the facility being able to accommodate a lot of people, it all set us up for an easy conversation to have about returning, next year at Caves Valley. So we're excited about it. It's, we've got a great plan in place, from 21 that we're going to just, tweak and make it a little bit better for next time around. So, yeah, we're really excited about the return.
Can I ask a nerdy question about this? Because
sure.
I will tell you that a lot of people said they thought the golf course was too easy for the pros that year. I thought it created for an amazing atmosphere. Like these guys chasing birdies. I think everybody remembers the Patrick Cantlay, Bryson showdown on Sunday, chasing scoring. As a guy who admittedly is not the biggest golf guy, I loved it. Did you guys come away from it saying, okay, when we come back, we got to make sure the course is tougher, or is that maybe not the problem? Like, it's okay if there's scoring in golf. Like, not every tournament needs to be the U.S. Open.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. So if you ask 10 people to tell me what they shot, what was the score? What did Bryson shoot the last day? What did Patrick shoot? They probably wouldn't be able to tell you. But what they would be able to tell you is that was an amazing finish with an incredible playoff. And, at the end of the day, this is also entertainment. So, you're right. There's one tournament a year that they get beat up, and that's the U.S. Open. And that's a different championship. But these are the best players in the world. I mean, I don't know what you want to do to a golf course to try to embarrass the guys, but they are unbelievable talents. And, they played really well out there, but it was electric. I mean, they were chasing birdies, and that's what made it fun and entertaining down the stretch. So, yeah, I mean, did they play really well? Yes, of course they did. It was wet, it was humid, but I didn't mind that in my eyes because it created an incredible experience.
All right, so we're chatting with Vince Pellegrino, who, as I knew the entire time, is Senior VP of Tournaments for the WGA. He's with us here on GCR. You mentioned the support of the community. I know the volunteer process is a part of that. Can you give us an overview how many volunteers you need in order to pull off this event and why here we are, again, almost a year away, and we've got to start making that push now in order to make sure that this event gets pulled off?
No, I appreciate that because we couldn't do this without the volunteers. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the championship. And really, they do everything from admissions to helping out in the merchandise tent to being on the on the golf course as a gallery control to being standard bearers. So like we really couldn't do this without them. We need over 2,200 volunteers to manage the championship. And, they get great access, not only to the tournament, but, some people inside the ropes up close and personal with players. And so it's a great experience, for somebody who really wants to get involved, volunteer their time, for the championship. And really what it allows us to do is to be able to donate proceeds back to the Evans Scholars Foundation, which is the tournament's sole charity. So we just kicked off volunteerism. We need the help. We need the support. And I think if you're a golf fan, it doesn't get any better than a playoff event at the BMW Championship. So we'd ask for your support to sign up and work 4 to 6 hours on a day of your choice. And there's some opportunities still available right now.
BMWChampionship.com is where people go to find out. It's correct.
That's correct. Yeah, BMWChampionship.com is the website where you can sign up right now and get on board.
And is it various different opportunities? Is there a specific skill that you're looking for in a volunteer, or is these things that anybody could do no matter what your skill set is?
Well, I think that's just it. So some opportunities require standing. Being on your feet all day, and that's kind of the, inside the ropes type of opportunities. But there's some other ones like, helping out with corporate hospitality and being in admissions and helping in the merchandise tent. So there's various opportunities for anybody who wanted to get involved.
I think my father actually is going to be interested in signing up after he had such a good time at the 2021. This is his world, man. And I was talking to him about it, and he was like, yeah, I might do that. He's retired. He's got the time. He's like, that might be a good way for me to spend the weekend. I said, go right over, Dad. You enjoy that altogether.
It's a pretty good package that comes along with it too. So it's there is a registration fee and a pretty nice swag bag package comes along with it.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Oh, he would wear it all year round. He would wear it all year. What else might be new or different this time around, Vince? Like what for everybody that experienced it in 2021, is it just, hey, we want to do the same thing, it worked out so well, or are there things that might look or seem different this year at the 2025 or next year at the 2025 BMW Championship?
Yeah, I think we had a really pretty solid plan, back in 21. I think what we're going to try to do is to create more areas of activity, and whether that's bringing in more food trucks, experiential things like putting, long putt challenges, video boards where people can kind of hang out, have concessions, watch the tournament action. We're going to try to incorporate, a club in hand type experiences where, a putting challenge of some sorts near the clubhouse. Okay. So various pockets of fan engagement areas. I think, creating more of that, considering we had a lot of people at the championship. And, having a place for people to hang out and watch a tournament while they're not following groups, I think is something that we're going to put some focus on, moving forward.
And obviously acknowledging it's going to be hot. Like, that's just the nature of the business. It's August.
Yeah, it's August, in the mid-Atlantic. It's going to be warm and creating an environment where, we've got more, for instance, our trophy club that was built between 16 and 17. We're going to reconfigure that to provide more shading, for that tent specifically, some indoor space with air conditioning. So, there's obviously some things that you learn every year with going to a venue, and then, having the luxury of coming back to a place. You can tweak that plan and make it a better experience for the spectators.
And then you referenced something a second ago I just wanted to give you a chance to maybe spend another minute on, which is that the reason why volunteers are so important is because you are trying to raise money for the Evans Scholar Foundation. I've had the opportunity to chat with some of the Evans Scholar recipients. They are remarkable human beings. That relationship, why that's so important, and what it is for people that still don't know about that aspect of it, what it is the Evans Scholar Foundation is doing.
Well, we appreciate that because it's near and dear to my heart. It's a caddy scholarship. So essentially, it's a caddy scholarship. You have to have caddied for 2 years, have had financial need, great grades, and we give away over 1,200 scholarships each year to 24 different universities across the country. As a result of the championship in 21, we were able to establish a scholarship house at the University of Maryland. So, whether you're buying tickets, whether you're a corporate supporter, you're volunteering, all that money goes back towards the community and giving away scholarships to kids that, caddy at Baltimore Country Club or at Caves Valley or other clubs in the area. We raised over $5.5 million last time, and that all goes towards the scholarship and providing young kids an opportunity to get an education that they might not otherwise have. And just a quick plug, for those out there looking for a summer job for their kids, caddying is the best summer job that a kid can have, regardless of this scholarship. Where they earn some money. It's hard work. They get to talk to some successful people, and it's just a really great summer job for any kid. But if you can get a scholarship where it's a full tuition and housing scholarship to one of 24 different universities across the country, that's a pretty good deal too.
That's incredible. All right, BMWChampionship.com is the website. And you can go right now and click on volunteers. There's a tab right there at the top of the page, and find out more about opportunities that would be available for you to be a part of the BMW Championship at Caves Valley in 2025. And then, if somebody said, "Hey, I'd like to get somebody tickets for Christmas," where are we at with that?
First week of December, we're going to launch tickets. So you can go to the website right now and sign up. Give us your email address, and we're going to send you the opportunities when they come out the first week in December, so you can get it for a holiday gift. But be able to get the tickets at the best price of the year, and that's going to be launching the first week of December.
Vince, I'm very excited. I'm telling you, I'm like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 4 as a golf fan. But that event, it hit me. Like it got my juices flowing. In fact, I went on Saturday and then was glued to my TV on Sunday afterwards because I had that good of a time out of the BMW Championship. So I am very excited. Looking forward to you guys being back here at Caves in 2025. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. Let's do this more as we get closer to the event, all right?
Yeah, I would love to. So I appreciate the support and looking forward to being there next year.
Vince, thank you so much. Vince Pellegrino with us here on GCR. And again, BMWChampionship.com is the website for you to get signed up and become a volunteer for the 2025 event. You guys know golf is not my thing. Like, I can't hide from it. If I came on here and did an interview with Vince where I was like, dude, then I'd be lying, and you guys would see right through that. But you also know, because I said it then, the atmosphere was unreal. Took my dad, had an awesome time. And it was so cool that I legitimately the next day didn't go to the tournament, but I was so enthralled by it that I sat and watched golf. It might have even been there wasn't. I was gonna say was it the first? It was at Labor Day week. I think it was the weekend before Labor Day weekend, so it wasn't Labor Day weekend. It wasn't. I didn't choose it over tennis. Was what I was about to say the U.S. Open was going. That's not the case, but still, that's how I chose to spend my day, was watching golf. Which again, anyone in my life would tell you is not something I do. That is not. Sundays do not get golf in my house. But that year, that event was all in. I was drunk on the BMW Championship. All right, winding down for hour number 2 of the program. Coming up, we're going to get you segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show with special guest Tavius Robinson. And we are doing a quick turnaround for the next Arthur Maulet Show. We will be back in action this coming Tuesday night at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. We hope you will come join us for the next Arthur Maulet Show. It's brought to you by Easy Pass and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. You can find out more by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Maulet. That's MAULET for the next Arthur Maulet Show coming up this Tuesday night, November 19th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. When we come back in, Tidbit, Tubular, segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show. That's on the way. It's GCR.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from driveeasymd.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at driveeasymd.com.
Pressbox's Project Game Day is the place to be after every game this season. Join Glenn Clark, Rita Hubbard, Super Bowl 35 champion Femi Ayanbadejo, and our cast of regulars as they break down what happened, why it mattered, and what it means moving forward. You can watch the show at PressBoxOnline.com/gameday or Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Project Game Day is brought to you by the Green Turtle Sportsbook in Towson and Canton, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. So join us for Project Game Day after every game day this football season at PressBoxOnline.com/game day.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Brace yourselves for an unparalleled in-person betting experience at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook and Bars in Canton and Towson. Experience the thrill of live betting with Baltimore's only state-of-the-art Vegas viewing TV experience. Choose between our on-site tellers or the convenience of our self-bet kiosks to place your bets. Gather your betting buddies and head over to the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks today. Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. The ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Go to mdgamblinghelp.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we are winding down for a Thursday edition of the program. Today's show has also been brought to you by the print issue of PressBox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Big one tomorrow night down in College Park, Maryland Marquette. And on the cover, you see 2 Terps, Derek Queen, Juju Reese, Baltimore bred, former St. Francis teammates. They've reunited in College Park. So far, so good, but obviously a big step up in competition. Go pick it up right now wherever you find PressBox around town. I don't know how I feel about it tomorrow night yet. I haven't gotten a sense of whether I believe Maryland can compete with Marquette. I think the way Patrick Stevens said it is appropriate, which is like, we know they're not as miserable as they were a year ago, offensively. Like, we know that's the case.
I expect them to win.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But are you basing that off of, like,
the fact that they're Maryland?
There you go. You're not going down, are you?
No. I have Stevenson hockey tomorrow.
Oh, you have hockey tomorrow night.
Yes.
That's right. You have hockey tomorrow night. Yeah, I was offered tickets to that and to the Maryland Rutgers game on Saturday. Unfortunately, I'm not available for either one of them. Just the way it goes, man. When you work in this business, it's a bummer the way that works sometimes. And the next Saturday, I'm supposed to be helping AJ with the canned food drive, but like I got games that day. It's a whole thing. We'll figure it out.
They have a time for next Saturday's
noon
game?
kickoff for next Saturday. I don't think it's the big noon kickoff game. I don't think that's it.
They might change their mind.
People really mad about Ohio State playing all these noon kickoffs.
Do people know that Ohio State is good?
That's the problem. They
want them late?
Yes.
So people are mad. Okay, I thought they were like, oh, Ohio State's hogging all the
they want them,
the Fox noon.
No, it's the exact opposite. The fans don't want their teams playing at noon for multiple reasons. The college kids want to
party all
want
day?
to drink all night.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to have to wake up at 6 to start tailgating. Then the people that have families that have kids that play soccer or whatever on a Saturday want it to be later in the day so it doesn't conflict with their kid. People don't like the noon kickoffs. And for years, the biggest games are always the 3:30 games. But then Fox got into the picture and wanted to create the thing that could be their own, right? ABC had prime time. CBS always had the 3:30 SEC game, the big SEC game of the week, that those networks owned. So they wanted to find something that could be the thing that they owned and they could brand and be associated with. So they decided to go with noon. The problem being, the fans don't like it. They don't want their games kicking off at noon. The irony of this being that apparently Ohio State, Michigan is kicked off at noon every year for forever.
Yeah.
Apparently, those two schools have clauses in their Big Ten deal that they can overrule the networks. They actually have more power. We always say it's all based around TV. Apparently, if Fox said we want the game but we want it for prime time, Ohio State and Michigan could say after daylight savings time, they could say, nope, not playing it then.
They're sticking it at noon.
They could do it for any game.
Okay.
So Ohio State, Indiana is.
So Ohio State, Michigan wants to play at noon. They want to play at noon.
They apparently after daylight savings time, they don't want to play late games. But the fans are yeah, we want you to play, and it's conflicting, right? Because you get it. Even if you kick a game off at 3:30 in those places, once the sun goes down, which is now 4 o'clock, right, it's going to be cold. So you understand why the schools have said, once we get daylight savings time, we kind of rather have, noon kickoffs. Play it when it's sunny out. We don't want to be playing night games in the miserable cold. And you get the thought process. You understand it. But the fans then say, okay, well, if the late games have to be at noon, then you better be playing all the games before that at better times. And that's the problem. The Ohio State-Penn State game, which was before daylight savings time, when the weather was still decent, they played that one at noon, and apparently the Penn State fans were so pissed off about that they boycotted the Fox pregame show and all went to game day. Weird bit, man. Weird bit.
They're gonna be at Ohio State. I think the back to back the
game day.
Yeah, or big noon at least. Game day might. I don't know.
Oh, game day will probably have to go to Ohio State, Indiana.
That's the big noon kickoff as well next week.
Right. That'll probably be the exact same.
And then Michigan and Ohio State play the following week.
Right.
In Columbus.
Right.
As well,
but I don't think game day will go to that because it's just not a big game. It's just.
Yeah.
It's.
I'm sure
Michigan's
got to be. Week 14 here, so that'll be Penn State, Maryland. That's a good one.
Ah, yes, that's probably the one.
Texas at A&M. They already went to A&M.
Oh, yeah, that's rivalry weekend, right?
Yeah.
So that's Alabama, Auburn.
Yeah, you got Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, is that all the...
They already went to Alabama. I don't know how much it matters. South Carolina at Clemson, they're not going there. Yeah. Oklahoma, LSU's no good.
What's the...
Yeah, I guess this is only the top 20. These are the only ranked games. So the only ranked Texas at A&M.
Oh, that'll be the game.
Okay,
that'll be the game.
They'll go to A&M twice.
Yeah, because this is the first time Texas has played A&M in years. That's a big deal.
Okay, yeah.
That they will absolutely go to that game. I would say almost no matter what the implications are.
Purdue at Indiana.
If Indiana, but Purdue stinks. I mean, No, they'll do Texas A&M because
Tennessee at Vandy.
It's the first time those schools have played in years. That's
Okay.
That's a big
right.
That's a big game. All right, very good. Let's get a tidbit, shall we? Tidbit is brought to you today by Live Casino and Hotel. What's going on at Live Casino and Hotel, Griffin?
You're getting $7 in free slot play for every touchdown scored during Baltimore or Washington home games this season. Live Rewards members get $7 in free slot play if they have their Live Rewards card inserted into the slot machine. Any slot machine on the floor and be actively playing in order to get your prize. But once those touchdowns score, you get $7 in free slot play. Valid for slot play only at Owings Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, what you got? Oh, you know what? I was sitting on. It's not sports related though.
Okay.
This was from Trivia on Tuesday night. I gave you all the sports ones. The other question. Apparently Tuesday was Leonardo DiCaprio. Was this his 50th birthday? Is he really 50 years old?
Old.
Right? That seems. Well, Leonardo DiCaprio is. Yeah, he's turned 50. That's wild. I'm old. He turned 50 on Tuesday.
You're not 50 yet.
What are the 5 highest grossing Leonardo DiCaprio movies of all time?
All right.
By the way, we only got 3 of the 5. And we got a
So you're
movie
mad at
guy.
your movie guy?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, we talked him out of one of his answers, and we would have only gotten 2 out of 5.
Jeez. All right. Leo movies. I mean, obviously Titanic is going to be on the list.
I'm not going to respond to any of these until you've given me 5.
5.
Yeah, give me 5, and then I'll tell you how you did.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go Titanic, Wolf of Wall Street, Gatsby. I don't think Django would be. I don't think that would be up there. Shutter Island wasn't like. I don't think that would be top 5. There's probably like early movies that he did like before 2000 that I'm just not thinking of. Outside of Titanic. Darn, I don't know. All right, I'll go. He wasn't in Hateful Eight, was he? No. I'll go Django and Shutter Island. I'll go Django and Shutter Island.
You got 2 out of 5.
Darn it!
But to be fair,
So
one of your 2 we didn't get.
I'm guessing one. I'm trying to figure out what Wolf of Wall Street or Gatsby, which one it wasn't.
You got Titanic, of course. The one that we didn't get that you got, we did not. We talked ourselves out of Django.
Oh, okay.
So
Django is top 5. Darn.
We
what else?
did guess Wolf of Wall Street, and we were wrong on that one. Wolf of Wall Street, which I have no idea. We convinced ourselves that maybe the reason why we were wrong is because it was rated R, and like rated R movies, it's harder to get that. But then Django was on the list, so I cannot figure out for the life of me
what ratings mean.
How Wolf of Wall Street isn't in the top 5 and Django is. So you got 2 more. Wolf, Gatsby, and Shutter Island are wrong. You want to throw any more guesses in there?
Not Don't Look Up. No, I don't know. Why can't I can't think of more like great Leo. Like you're gonna say them, and I'm gonna be like, God, how did I not? I guess not. I guess I don't have any more.
Wow, you don't have any more.
Any more good guesses?
You can't think of any other Leonardo DiCaprio films that you could throw out there.
No.
This is rough for you, dog. The one that was pretty obvious that you didn't get, Inception.
Okay, yeah. Inception's a good one.
Inception's on the list.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Not Killers of the Flower Moon. The one that we debated over and finally decided at the last second to, I don't remember what we kicked off. Oh, we were debating between Gangs of New York. It's not Gangs of New York. And the greatest motion picture of all time, but I just didn't know how well it did at the box office. Catch Me If You Can.
Okay.
Catch Me If You Can is a top 5 Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
That makes sense.
And the other one, what he finally won the Academy Award for.
Oh.
The Revenant.
The Revenant? That
Revenant.
Really? That's
Yeah,
top 5 Leo movie?
I was surprised by that as well. But The Revenant was the other one for Leonardo
Simply
DiCaprio.
because, I don't know. Yeah,
There you go.
I guess.
All right.
Nominations.
What do you have for tidbit? Quickly.
Bryce Harper became, along with the Silver Sluggers, he became the fourth player to win a Silver Slugger at 3 different positions after winning a Silver Slugger at first base on Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night.
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Because if it's multiple outfield positions, there's just no. Come on, man. Like, I have no clue. I don't.
They're both
Mookie Betts?
other primary first baseman. No, not Mookie Betts.
That probably won as a DH. And then won. That's
as an
stupid.
outfield. Well,
That
no, actually
shouldn't-
not as a DH. I don't think either of them won it as. Well, let me see. Yeah, I don't think either of them won it as a DH.
All right, I got nothing.
The 2001 Rookie of the Year.
2001 Rookie of the Year. 2001 Rookie of the Year. The funny thing is, what came to mind is Ichiro, but it's not Ichiro.
Not Ichiro.
Was he 01 or was he?
What was?
Because wasn't that the Mariners?
That was that was their 100 whatever win season.
I don't know. Pujols.
Yes, Albert Pujols.
Really?
Yes, Albert
Okay.
Pujols. I think one was a left fielder.
I don't remember anything about that.
Ichiro, when did he first? Yes, 2001 was. He was not Rookie of the Year.
Well, no, he was the American League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, you're right. Yes.
Pujols was the National League Rookie of the Year.
Another primary first baseman. I think he won one as a third baseman as well.
One as a third baseman as well. First baseman, third baseman.
And he also played left field, I guess, at some point. When did he play left field? His first 3 seasons he played left field.
For who?
The Florida Marlins.
Florida Marlins is over. Started his career in Florida. Cabrera.
Yes, Miguel Cabrera.
Okay.
Miguel Cabrera. And then the third one on this list, I don't have any good he played 2 outfield positions. He was a first baseman as well. Did he ever? He really didn't. Yeah, he was second in Rookie of the Year voting in 1969.
Oh, good. Boog pal.
He was a Pirate,
a rookie in
a
69.
Ranger, and then a bunch of other teams.
Pirate, a Ranger. Who were the other teams?
A bunch. Let's see. Montreal, San Francisco, Philly.
Was it Al Oliver?
It was Al Oliver.
I needed Montreal. We did Al Oliver for Patrick Stevens.
Okay.
Not this. We did it in the spring, and I remember looking over Al Oliver's teams. But that's the only reason I would have gotten that.
Yeah, there you go. Well done. Bryce Harper joins that list.
The
Al
teams would
Oliver,
have not have helped me in any way.
Miggy and Pujols. And then I
It's
guess
got to be
really
quick.
All right,
It's
really
gotta be
quick.
quick.
So we're obviously whenever the MVPs get announced, this will be only the second season, second season where both MVPs had already previously won MVP, because Ohtani and Judge both. This will be Judge's second MVP, Ohtani's third. Only one other time have both MVPs won the same year.
I'm actually
they had already had
surprised by that.
Yeah, it is surprising. It was
was Barry Bonds one of them?
No. 1955.
Oh, of course. Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Third MVP for both.
I thought that was the case. 1955 was.
They were both catchers.
Yogi?
Yogi's one of them.
Catcher. For the National League. Catcher.
A former Baltimore Eli Giant.
Oh, Roy Campanella?
Roy Campanella
Roy Campanella
and Yogi Cabrera. Yogi Cabrera.
Yeah. Oh, Yogi Cabrera. Miguel's dad.
Yeah. Yes, that's the only. That is the only other time that both MVPs in the same year had already won MVP.
Nobody goes there anymore. It's always too packed. That's what Yogi likes to say. All right, let's get totally tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. NFL Week 11 does indeed kick off. Commanders, Eagles, 8:15 on Amazon Prime Video. Crosstown rivalry game tonight at UMBC as they host Coppin State, 7 o'clock on ESPN+. Apparently, the CONCACAF Nations League gets underway. The U.S. men take on Jamaica, 8 o'clock on TNT and True TV. The rest of the college, there's only one other college basketball game on. Why is there no college basketball tonight? That's weird. ESPN2, Grand Canyon, Arizona State at 9 o'clock. ESPN has college football, East Carolina, Tulsa at 7:30. NBA TV, Mavs, Jazz at 9. ESPN Plus and Hulu. Blues, Sabres at 7:30. Round 1 of the PGA Bermuda Championship on Golf Channel. Tennis Channel, and if their app works, then maybe there too for the ATP Finals coverage. And Access TV tonight for TNA Impact at 8. Non-sports?
Yeah, we've got a good bit here. Where do I want to start? Billy Bob Thornton will be on Stephen Colbert tonight.
What's he plugging?
There's a Paramount Plus show that premieres on Sunday called Landman, and it actually looks pretty good. It is set in the proverbial boomtowns of West Texas. And it's kind of like it looks like more of a modern-ish, I guess. More modern-ish, Yellowstone-ish, I guess. With all
what is going on? I just want to delete something.
With also a mix of Friday Night Lights because there was some football stuff, and it's West Texas, of course. So some football.
That's a fair point.
Guest stars include John Hamm and Michael Pena as well. So it looks pretty solid on Paramount Plus Sunday. And let's see, Ariana Grande and Michael Bublé will be on Fallon. Ariana Grande, of course,
promoting Gladiator, obviously.
Yes. Or maybe Wicked, could be one of the two. And then Michael Bublé.
Now, who did Michael Bublé play in Wicked? Was he the Cowardly Lion?
I guess he's just promoting Christmas music. That's
probably
just Christmas music.
Yeah.
And then a few new shows on Hulu. We have Say Nothing. It's like it's based on a true story, I think. During the Troubles in Northern Ireland, or maybe was it? Yeah. And so the single mother is abducted, and then it looks kind of mysterious. And it's based on a book as well. Say Nothing on Hulu. I don't know. Looks pretty solid. I didn't recognize any of the actors, but it looked good.
All right.
And then, of course, finally, Cross premieres tonight. The Alex Cross show.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
on
you
Prime
and Stan
Video.
are both very excited about that.
And then Peacock also has another. This is the Eddie Redmayne action show, The Day of the Jackal on Peacock.
Is Eddie Redmayne an action guy?
He is now.
I don't know that.
And he's got me sold. At least the trailers do.
All right, fair enough.
That's on Peacock.
I finished Aaron Hernandez last night. You're never gonna believe how it ends. You're never gonna believe
he got off, right?
Batman. He's Batman. It's crazy. Who knew? Yeah, I finished that last night. And I'm finished Agatha.
Oh, okay.
So there was something. What was I gonna do next? Oh, the Penguin. I got to do the Penguin.
Yeah.
That's gonna be next up on the list for me. It's finally getting around to that. All right, very good. Thanks today to.
Oh, it's also Harry Potter Wizards of Baking series.
Hell yeah, it is. You think I didn't know that? Thanks to Charlie Batch. Thanks to KZ. Thanks to Dave Dameshek. Thanks to Marlon Brown. Thanks to Vince Pellegrino. We'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the
Here we go.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Stan's back tomorrow. We'll preview Ravens Steelers with Bo Smolka. And Carl Ravitch will join us to talk some Orioles hot stove as he was tweeting about the Birds this week. Get his thoughts on what it is they should be doing this offseason. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, Cruise Maryland, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costas Inn, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. Tonight at 8, the Arthur Maulet Show will be on 105.7 The Fan. If you've missed any of it this week, you can tune in then. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Thursday night. Go Coppin or UMBC. Duke sucks. We wrap up today with segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show from Mother's North Grille in Timonium. Segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show. Rita and Glenn, Arthur Maulet, Tavius Robinson, Pressbox 105.7 The Fan, live from Mother's North Grille in Timonium. I am very excited. Oh my gosh, my kids are going to almost make me change all of my plans for this now. Mother's North Grille is hosting Harry Potter Trivia Saturday, November 23rd at 1 o'clock. Come show off your knowledge. Mother's North Grill also has trivia every Wednesday night, but a very special Harry Potter version of trivia Saturday, November 23rd at 1. My kids would do great with this. I would not do well.
I wouldn't either.
They made me take a test.
You wouldn't either.
No, not your thing.
Yeah.
So wait, what is your thing then? Like, what is, if there was a themed trivia game that they played here, what is the thing that you would do really well with?
Sheesh, that's tough, bro. You just put me on the spot. Probably like some type of anime show.
Oh, right, yeah, that's your thing.
That's me. What about you, T-Rod?
Dragon Ball.
Okay,
Dragon Ball's
okay,
one of my favorite.
okay.
What else? Favorite TV shows. Game of Thrones.
Okay, there you go.
I got into
Okay,
Game of
that's
Thrones.
right.
Everybody
Yeah.
tells me to watch Game of Thrones.
I think there's a non-zero.
I don't
It's
know.
not my thing. Not my thing. But there's a non-zero. There would be a Game of Thrones trivia here in the future, and you guys can fight to have Tavius on your team at that point. But come join us on Saturday, November 23rd for Harry Potter trivia here at Mother's. Highly recommend the black and blue salad while you are here.
Love it.
Highly recommended. All right, bro. Well, we finally reached that week.
Yeah.
We finally reached it.
Yeah.
That team, what do we say we were calling them? The team by the lake? Is that?
I don't know
The
what you're
team
talking
up,
about.
Did we say the team up north?
The team, no, that's the Ohio
Across
State,
the
Michigan
river?
thing.
Across the river.
Team across the river. We're not referring to
Team
them by
across
name.
the river. Shout out to my girl D Love Sports. The opposition is in the house tonight.
We won't use the name. The team across the river is what we're calling
The
them.
team across the river.
You said something really interesting today that stuck with me.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you did.
Really?
At over at the facility
Oh,
when,
okay, okay.
when people were talking to you. You said, I'm not a Raven yet.
Yeah.
Talk me through that.
They said you have to beat Pittsburgh to be a Raven, and I didn't beat them last year, so I plan on beating them this year.
There you go. There we go. We like the sound of that.
I'm in the same boat.
Yes.
Tavius said,
we gotta
me
become a Raven,
too.
bro.
You've been around long enough. It's about damn time you become a Raven, right?
Been a minute, you know.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
It's about time it happened.
Gotta earn my stripes,
right?
man.
So, you know, look, let's talk about this rivalry, right? It's got to earn your stripes.
Yes.
You know, you've been on both sides of it,
Yeah.
obviously. You've been with the Steelers, now you're with the Ravens. And so I feel like we lose. I don't know. The NFL, to me, now is more so about quarterbacks against quarterbacks. And I think we lose sight of, like,
The
divisional
historical
games.
rivalry.
Yeah. And so,
I
you know,
think
what
it's
does this
back.
mean for you?
I think it's back, man. It's two great teams right now in the AFC North that's leading right in the division. It's a must-win game for both teams. Both teams are on win streaks, right, and playing very well. Both teams has really good quarterbacks. You feel me? Really good running game.
Yeah.
You know, back like it used to be back in the day. Really good receivers. And a really good defenses, right? So it's really going to be an interesting game. It's going to be very electrifying. It's going to be like the old school atmosphere because it matters. It's for the #1 seed. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited. This is what you live for, man. Words can't even put it into kind of describe what it's really going to mean to anyone that's in this rivalry, because I think since 2020 it really hasn't been.
Yeah, but it's been weird, right?
Yeah, because like this is the thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't play with Pittsburgh my whole career, and I didn't play with Baltimore my whole career, but I knew about the rivalry. But when I did know about the rivalry, both of the teams were really, really good.
Right.
Back, when I played for Pittsburgh, we were decent, but, it was like we're playing against backups against the Ravens because they're the #1 seed. It's like we're fighting for that #1 seed now. And that's how it was back in the day because both of those teams were good. So I think that rivalry is just reignited now, and it matters. And we got familiar faces on both sides, and it's gonna be fun. So it's gonna be turned up this week.
Yeah.
Tavius is like a guy that plays defense. Like the history of Ravens Steelers is.
Literally, that's what I was about to say. Like, this is the game that I remember watching on TV growing up. Looking up highlights on TV as a youngin. So it's a big game, and it's gonna be fun to play in it for sure.
This is a rivalry. Like, it's very, like you did say it's weird, but when you start even thinking back to like 2000, I think, Glenn, and they won, and I think like the Steelers won 9-6 6 or
Yeah,
something.
there were a lot of.
It was something really.
There's a lot of 13-10 in the history of Ravens Steelers.
But when you watched it, it didn't feel like it. You know what I'm saying?
Brutal.
It was brutal, but it was also exciting at the same time.
back.
You know, and then when you look at the final score, it's like, wow.
That's how we scored. Yeah.
That's all.
Really
What
good
happened?
defenses.
Right.
You know, pretty good offenses as well. Historical quarterbacks, Flacco, Roethlisberger, all those guys, you know what I'm saying? Really good quarterbacks. But it's like those defenses were hard and tough. And they weren't giving up a lot of plays. But when you did make big plays on offense, it meant the world because you know, like, you got them. You know what I'm saying? And after that, you know, you just had to finish them. So this is going to be an exciting week, man. This is going to be a really, really important, exciting week for both teams.
All right, what is it about, like, Pittsburgh? What is it about? I call it the House of Derp because I feel like every time a good football teams go to that place.
Bro, they have that juju.
It's
don't know what
it's
it
voodoo.
is.
It's
not voodoo,
it's
man.
That Renegade song.
I just think, you know, they know how to play in close games. Obviously, I've been on both sides. They are not scared of playing close games. They live on the edge. They play on the edge, right? So I just think they're comfortable with that, right? And then obviously when they play that Renegade a little bit, they get a little bit of juju.
Amen. Amen. I've been to Pittsburgh 3 times for games, and every time that song comes on, I'm like, what is happening
I just don't want to see my
right
teammates
now?
dance to it. I think that's what it really is. When the opposing team bob their head to the song like, yeah, it's Renegade, that's when everything just goes.
But no, you see, that's you taking your that's you taking the energy.
No, you're not. You're giving them energy. I've been on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, yeah, that song's playing. That means just lock in even more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not to wave towels like they do on their sideline, right? It's not to nod your head to their music. You know, when when they play that Renegade song, that means lock in even more, right? Because they feel as though, okay, we have to lock in now. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to come balls to the wall and play as tough as they can because they know when they play that song, they rarely lose.
Right.
So if they want to play that song, we don't have to nod our head. We don't have to wave those towels. We have to go about business and make sure that we're on our P's and Q's and we handle up. So,
Game face.
Yeah, game
face,
yeah.
right? Game face. Tavius, are you a talker? I haven't never really noticed this about you on the field. Are you a talker when you're on the field, or are you a game face guy?
I'm more of a game face guy. Like just talk with my pads.
He don't talk.
No, at all?
He's a silent assassin.
I'm not a big talker.
All right, I'll save the rest of Pittsburgh for the third segment, but I want to give you this one. If someone, and I'm not suggesting that Tavius would ever do this, but if he came to you like, bro, I'm going to like stomp on a towel on the sideline before the game, or I'm going to like wipe my butt with it.
That.
Yeah, not doing any of that?
We're not doing that.
No?
Man. We're playing football.
Respect.
We're playing football.
Respect. We don't need none of that. None of that.
Lindell White did that, and the Titans ain't been right ever since. So please don't do that, okay? It's something in them ugly towels,
I'm
okay?
telling you,
It's something in the towels. Don't do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Right. We're not doing any of that. Just going to Pittsburgh for a business trip.
A win.
Nice business trip. We'll talk more about that in segment number 3. Hey, the Arthur Maulet Show is made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No-cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. So I follow you on the socials. I've seen on your story this week, you've been sharing some Mike Tyson, Jake Paul videos. You actually, like, excited about this on Saturday night? Like, is this actually a way that you're going to spend your time?
It's funny to me, bro.
It is funny.
It's funny because Jake Paul is like, if I knock Mike Tyson out, like, this is going to be the best knockout in boxing history. I'm like, bro, he's 60.
Exactly.
If you don't knock him out, you're going to be the worst knockout in history. You know, so it's like, bro, you better beat Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? He's 60 years old. Like, I don't expect you to lose to this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in your prime. You're probably like 28, 29, whatever it is, right? If you lose to a 60-year-old, don't get me wrong, he's the greatest.
This is still Mike Tyson that we're
Bro,
talking
he's
about.
60.
I know, but I'm telling you,
if you can't bob and weave and make him tired, and I just feel like,
I think he might be a freak, bro. I think he might be like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. If I trained for 4 or 5 years and got in fights and did that, and I was going up against a 60-year-old and I lost, I'm retiring right after that. Like, I'm done. Like, it was 60. He's 60.
But he can get you with one punch.
No, I'm gonna tire him out. Bob, weave, bob, weave, 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 bob.
You don't think you could make one mistake in there and end up just walking in
I'm
a
not
little
letting.
bit?
This is the thing. Mike Tyson wants to get close to you, so you have to play the far game. My brother's a boxer.
Okay.
And he's an MMA fighter in Colorado. He fights for Sparta 92. Shout out to my brother Henry.
What's your brother? Okay, yeah.
Now he's doing pretty good. I told him, we have to get a couple knockouts because I can't be endorsing, just split decisions. So, he's doing pretty good though. But, I just think for him, like, if you just get him tired, you don't let him get into your space, I think he should win the fight, I just hope Mike Tyson doesn't get knocked out.
Are you? Well, you guys can't because you'll be getting the night before. Although you'll be back in the hotel, will you spend time watching on Saturday night?
Probably not.
Yeah, that makes two. There's no chance. You cannot get me to do it.
Nah.
You can't get me to spend time watching.
Not a 60-year-old. What about you, bro?
No, I'm not gonna watch it. I'll watch it in the morning.
Right,
Exactly. I'm not gonna stay up to watch that.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you these. Who would be the best boxer on the team? Who would be the best boxer? Who would be the worst boxer on the team? Who would be the one?
I mean, I box in the off season, so.
Wait, really?
I would say me.
You spar?
I'm Muay Thai and spar. Yeah, I do.
Really?
I do a lot,
How long
yeah.
you been doing that?
For 6 years now.
Nice.
And what like was it your brother? What led you to doing that?
Yeah, a little bit of my brother because he always talks smack and, you play football, but you're not as physical as me because I'm actually ground and pounding and fighting real people in real life. And my other brother was a wrestler and one went away from a state championship in Louisiana.
And these are younger brothers.
Yeah, my younger
so you
brothers.
Have to be able
He's
to...
in the Marines too as well and did all that hand-to-hand combat stuff and all that. So for me, it's like, I'm the older brother.
Right,
like,
you have to be
I have
able
to
to
be
remind
sharp.
them. Yeah.
I'm the older brother. I have to remind them. So, I do my little Muay Thai in the off season and boxing because I don't do a lot of running. So that replaces my cardio.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just a family of badasses, by
Yeah,
the way.
pretty
Like, just a
much, man.
total
We try.
family of badasses. Tavius, how would you handle yourself if you were in a ring?
So I actually do boxing in the offseason.
Okay.
This is my first offseason. I'll tell you, the cardio part is
It's crazy,
joke.
right?
No joke.
Yeah.
Like I did one, the way we did it was like you were training for the round. So during the rounds, you're hitting the bags, and like by the end of it, you are exhausted.
What did you do? Like the 30-second count of consistent hitting and then off for 10 or 15 or something
It was
like that?
basically like sparring, but against the pads for the whole
Yeah.
the time of the round. Yeah.
So 3-minute rounds,
Yeah.
right?
So 3-minute rounds. So it was very tough, but that's something I'm going to start keeping doing with my off-season training
Smart
because
man.
it's all hand stuff in the box.
Do you find yourself now wanting to use your punch more often? Like you find yourself trying to mix the punch in more as a rusher?
Sometimes you got to hold that back.
I love that. Actually, right?
It's
I love
smart,
that.
though.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely smart, man. It definitely helped me with my game, too, because I'm out there in the trenches with y'all, too. Like, that boxing just brings a little bit more physicality, hand speed, eye discipline to where you're striking your target where it needs to be, accuracy for that. So it definitely helps. It works hand in hand with football, for real, for real.
Oh, you ever been to a big fight night? You ever gone to a?
No, that's one of the things on my bucket list that I do want to do.
I feel like
man.
every football, every athlete, it's
the
thing
I
is to go
have to go to like a Javante Davis fight or something in the offseason
And
or
he's
something. I haven't.
because he's
I
fighting
haven't-
in December, but
can't go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When's our bye week?
Wait, I was about to say I don't know if it's the bye week though.
No,
I don't think.
But the fight's in Houston again, right?
Yes, it's in Houston.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He fought once in Baltimore, after he had already been the guy.
right? Yeah.
And it was it was one
It's
of the
crazy,
wildest
right?
things I've
Yeah.
ever seen in my life. It was nuts.
He's from here, right?
Yes.
Correct. That was a big deal. Tavius, what about you? You ever been to a big fight?
Not a boxing fight. I went to a UFC fight in Jersey in
Okay.
the off season. I forget who it was. I know that Strickland was the co-main.
Okay,
and
yeah.
then,
Who was it, Griffin? All right, this is like the biggest UFC fan on face of the planet.
It was
Like,
in
normally-
Jersey in the summer. But it was fun. It was fun to be in
You
the,
liked it?
yeah,
Yeah,
the
it was dope.
energy.
Something about that
yeah.
atmosphere,
That
right?
fighting atmosphere is probably different, right?
Rita, which one did you go to? You went to a.
Oh, I went to the Bud Crawford.
Oh, you went to
fight
Bud Crawford?
Yeah, last summer.
How was the energy? It was crazy, right?
Crazy. It was crazy. Like Eminem came out, and obviously we didn't know that he was coming out, and then so that just kind of turned everything upside down, and then from that point on, it was just
let's see
it
what's
was
going-
crazy.
yeah.
That was my first fight too, ever going to. So I couldn't have picked a better fight to have gone to.
Yo, there's
Yeah,
something
that's
about
good.
the fight night energy, man. Like,
Yeah,
there's no,
it's crazy.
there's
I
nothing to
I
compare.
gotta check out a fight soon,
Yeah.
man. We got to actually like walk in the octagon afterwards and like two of the see like all
See
the,
that blood
the
and
blood.
stuff.
Oh my God.
So,
it was a
there's
great
like-
experience.
I don't want to fight.
I don't know how many of the names are. There's a local promotion here called Shogun Fights, right? They're great. And they used to do them at the arena. And a former mayor of our city was sponsoring one of the fights. And she was sitting right in front of me, and we were having fun, having a good time. And she's like, I got to go in and raise the hand of the winner after the fight that I sponsored. And she walks in, and she just starts screaming. Like, screaming.
blood
Because she had
everywhere.
no idea.
Yeah.
Like, she just sees blood everywhere.
man.
And she's like, oh.
Like, get me out of here.
Right? What did I get myself into? I'm good. I want to give you this one before we take a break. We're out here at Mother's, great food here. I saw when you were down in Tampa, you went to a really nice steakhouse. You mentioned the lasagna place
Italian
in
Caesar's
Clearwater.
Italian spot. Oh my goodness. bro.
We all know someone in our lives that you don't want to take to the nice steakhouse with you because you just know they're going to order food like a 5-year-old.
Get
and
fries.
they're gonna get, yeah.
Chicken tenders.
So
Chicken
I'm
tenders, like,
wondering
bro, get
if
a
there
steak,
might be
bro.
someone on the team that you are willing to out. Oh,
Oh, you know someone who? Oh, my boy Trent, man. My boy Trent. Yeah,
Trent
yeah. But he's now he's starting to try sushi and steak.
Okay, all right.
Well,
Stepping his game up a little
but
bit.
are we on the California roll
He's
portion
probably
of the
stuff.
sushi?
Yeah,
Okay,
basic stuff.
so we're not all the way there.
Tempura. Not there yet. The fried shrimp.
The fried
It's not
shrimp.
sushi, bro.
Did you go somewhere nice with him and like he ordered like a burger or something?
Yeah,
You're like,
we've been like me and him keep kind of go out for food and stuff a lot, and at the start because we were roommates like rookie year and all that. So at the start it was all just like basic stuff, chicken fingers.
God.
But now he's trying steak, he likes steak, all that stuff. So
All right.
I've been
Is
experiencing.
it well done though?
Yeah, we're not definitely not having medium rare yet.
I knew it.
please tell me he doesn't.
Ruin the whole steak.
Please tell me he doesn't ask for like ketchup or barbecue sauce.
No, that
all right, thank God. Thank God. That's
If he
not
would
the
ask for
case.
that, I would
Thank you for
have to
being
talk
willing
to
to
him.
out him. Thank you for being willing to put him out there like that. All right, make some noise. Arthur Maulet and Tavius Robinson, please. Tavius is here with us, courtesy of our friends at Great Eights Memorabilia. Remember, great8sbaltimore.com. They are always doing wonderful work for our community and taking care of folks in need during the holiday season. Tavius will be out at Cook Automotive in Aberdeen on December 7th. Keaton Mitchell at Wise Markets in Haverty Grace the same day. Pat Ricard on December 9th. And Rolling for Santa, too, is a great event that I've been a part of the last couple years. Tremendous. Great8sbaltimore.com with the number 8. When we come back in, we'll do a little bit more. We never found out what your Halloween costume is and what the rookies had to wear, so we got to talk about that and a little bit more because you're seeing an old friend on Sunday, and we got to talk and deal with that as well. We are live at Mother's North Grille in Timonium, Press Box 105.7 The Fan.